the day's been long and the road feels rough, and the world outside's had quite enough, there's a lantern glow at the end of the square, a friendly old place called the Crown and the Bear. Boots on the floor and laughter in the air, stories get bigger with every chair, from travelers passing to folks from the farm, everybody's welcome by the fire so warm. Even the Asians, come on down to the Crown and the Bear, pull up a stool, we've got time to spare, raise a glass with the friends you'll meet there at the old wooden bar of the Crown and the Bear. We accept Italians as well. The fiddles might play and the ale runs free, old Tom's telling tales from '83. The barkeep smiles like you've always been there, that's life every night at the Crown and the Bear. Just don't make it gay, my friend. Come on down to the Crown and the Bear, pull up a stool, we've got time to spare, raise a glass with the friends you'll meet there at the old wooden bar of the Crown and the Bear, where $20 is $20. So if the rain falls down on your day and the miles feel heavy along the way, there's a light in the window and folks who care waiting for you at the Crown and the Bear.
I guess I'll have a coat.
Come on down to the Crown and the Bear, where the fire's warm and the hearts are fair. You might walk in alone, but you'll never stay that way at the Crown and the Bear. Yeah, the Crown and the Bear.
And I just don't think it's going to be as crazy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh no, no, no.
That's a rare treat.
There we go. There we go.
It was everything. Production.
Bang.
What you get for that Epstein yoga?
Epstein yoga. It just gets better and better. Oh yeah.
Oh gosh.
Smoking a cigar while running.
I love how this basically is turned into almost like a friendship.
Yeah. He's defending him. He's oh, there you go.
Aww.
Oh. Like they were in the bluff.
There.
Dude.
Exactly. Oh gosh.
Oh, now he's gonna turn on her.
Not my boy.
Please clap.
Oh man.
I also love that there were Asian subtitles because here even the Asians are welcome.
Hola, Gord. How you doing, bro?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I didn't sleep a ton because I've been making little tweaks and whatnot to my video, but that's gonna be done out of the way today. So I am otherwise doing just fine. How about yourself?
I got coffee. I got a dog in here, and
Got a little underwater there for a bit there.
yeah. Yeah, doing pretty good. Just been getting a lot of freaking work done. It's that springtime season, so you know how that goes. Everything starts kicking in, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody needs your help doing this, doing that, and but yeah, I'm getting I'm deserving all my calories right now. Basically, I'll say that. Let's see. I will switch on over here 1 second. We of course gotta uh take a gander at our beautiful
Oh gosh.
leather
I
daddy.
heard I heard about this. Uh it's like one of the gayest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, so it's the priests Vatican, calendar. I
It's
don't
weird, like, if these are real people, which I'm questioning slightly,
mhm.
there's definitely a type. There's definitely a type because, like, the facial structure looks almost exactly the same on all of them.
It's
Uh,
like twink twink overload here. And what the heck? Why is this dude so sweaty? Why they got a sheen about this dude? He looks like he just did an exorcism that they don't even do anymore. Look at him. He's like, oh god, that was one hell of an exorcism.
we're confession maxing.
I think we got Draco Malfoy over here.
You'll need to be more specific because I could point to
uh,
about 4 of them that have that Draco.
mhm. My word.
I mean, again, I'm not positive this is real because, like, these look like AI generated images in a
They do.
way,
They do.
but, this it's a weird idea. This is what the heck? That's not
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
yeah,
Forgive
that's
me for I've been a bad boy.
whoever made this needs to do a bit of confessing.
Let's see. Let's remove that there for our safety.
Please, yes.
Yeah.
One topic out of the way.
Oh no, we're not done. My sister
No!
bought me the sexy priest calendar from Rome.
Oh my gosh.
Uh I'm just
Okay, so
saying.
these look like more like real people, I suppose.
I like that
So
hat.
is it meant to be like in black and white, look like you're looking at old World War II photos?
Well, I was looking closer at a better quality image here, and this was set at 2023. And
Ah.
yeah, so I don't know. I guess they upgraded and used AI to thin harder. I
I mean,
don't know.
is it actually called the Hot Priest calendar?
I think no, this is Roman calendar or whatever Romano calendry or whatever. I don't know.
But I mean, is the point like with the images is that I mean, I get that, it's an actual calendar, but I mean, is the point it's like, hey, you want to have a calendar that has attractive priests on it? It's like, it seems like you're promoting a weird form of lust there, and aren't Catholic priests not supposed to like be? I mean, I don't think they're supposed to even be married, uh, let alone objects of lust that
Right?
seem to go against like the whole idea. But I'm not a Catholic, so maybe there's something I'm missing there.
Yeah. So also I was temporarily without my card attached to my YouTube account. So I had a situation where I actually had to see ads for a few days.
Mm.
Well, and it was awful. I haven't seen ads since YouTube was called YouTube Red. YouTube Premium used to be called YouTube Red back when they were introducing Cobra Kai. And I was like, they had 2 episodes of that, and I instantly said, "Yeah, I'm going to subscribe to that. It's worth it." So I have not watched an ad since then. And anytime I see one or hear one, so I actually got off of YouTube for a few days, and except for like watching the things that I've already bought, which I have plenty of things bought through Google. So that helped out. But anyway, I saw a movie on there that I haven't watched in a few years, and first saw this when I was probably about 7 years old. But um, Ninja 3: The Domination.
Wait, You've seen this before?
So many times, so many times.
Really?
Yeah, I saw it on originally. It was like it was one of those shows, movies that was shared around on between TNT, yeah, TNT, TBS, and USA. And when they say USA up all night, yeah, that Hot Chick would say that.
So
Uh,
I'm not familiar with Ninja 1 or 2 or 3.
let's see. Hold on. Let's say we got okay, Blue. Be careful driving out today. I think you're driving a lot. So catch up on replay, finishing up the bounty since we go to. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. Have a good
Lady
one, Blue.
Boosh.
And
Lady
Boosh, how
Blue.
you doing, sir? Uh, by the way, I have a
I'm
picture. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. So like I said, I have no notion of this movie. I've never heard of it. But one of the first things I tend to do when I look up a movie is I look up the content advisory just for curiosity. And this has probably my favorite first prompt for a content advisory. So so the sections on your IMDb content advisory are you have your at the bottom, you have your frightening and intense scenes. Above that, alcohol, drugs, and smoking. Above that,
Mhm.
profanity. Above that, violence and gore. And above that, at the top, sex and nudity. So at the top of the sex and nudity category, it says, now granted, these are people putting this stuff in. Sometimes it's very formal, it's very exacting, but occasionally you can tell that somebody doesn't really get the point of these totally. So there's a little bit of personal flair to the description.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this says a woman puts on a nightshirt and huge panties. She straddles a man and pours
Oh.
tomato juice down her shirt.
Yeah,
She
that's a
rolls
thing.
over and has her hairy boyfriend lick it off her neck. Very erotic, no nudity. It's like, okay. I don't think at this point I even need to see the movie. I've heard enough.
Gord, you're gonna see the movie.
Nah, okay.
We're gonna review it. We're gonna break this down as hardcore as possible. We me.
Well, in that, I mean, that would probably be pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
I
This
mean,
would
it's
probably fit that mold pretty well. Like, especially if we've never even bothered with Ninja 1 or 2.
we
So,
just
like, we're
bypass
just
1 and 2.
we're just watching Ninja 3. We don't need 1 or 2. Ninja 3 is where it's at.
So
All we need is the tomato juice scene.
the V8 can of tomato juice is beautiful, and it is something that between a man and a woman. Let's see. Go. You forgetting that hour walk-in, sir. Remember to be getting fat. I think you said. So, Ninja 3 starts out. I'm just going to give you a quick little rundown here.
All
Um,
right.
and what got me just like entranced in this movie because back in the 90s, late 80s and 90s, of course, ninja were everything. Everything
That's
was
true.
ninja. So and this fascination with absolute misunderstandings about Japan and what's going on, what the fuck is going on in Japan. We're like, what is going on in Japan, people? So
It's a wild place.
it's a wild world. The yeah, so she's not even really in the beginning. At the beginning, you have uh all these cops who are apparently really corrupt and doing something and all that, and they're chasing down this ninja. He's apparently done something very ninja-rific, and they're chasing him down, and they finally, like I guess he takes out about like 20 cops along the way, and then finally they get him pinned down to an area because a helicopter spots him. I think he uses the helicopter. Oh yeah, he's throws a ninja star at the helicopter. Shuriken flying everywhere, and takes out somebody from the helicopter, and then they finally catch him. And then one of the lead guys in the story, the only good clean cop out of all of them, is there, and with a big crew of the main character cops, and they all just start blasting the shit out of this ninja. And then
Alright.
he gets shot about 40 times. It's like the jungle scene in Predator, the jungle scene. It's the scene where they mow down half of the forest, a
Gotcha.
few acres and all that. And he's just getting shot, shotgun blasted, a rifle, handgun, everything, revolvers mainly. And then he puts his fingers together, does this little spin move, and goes into the the sand dune on a golf course.
Wow.
And whenever they're like, holy crap, he just disappeared, and they're like, okay, so they eventually leave. Well, anyway, he just actually just went down into the sand. That's exactly what he did. And he comes out and he's very injured. We get introduced to her, our main character, our lead lady, and she's very, I don't know what they were trying to allude to, that she would have some type of sense of how to do anything, but she is climbing a pole with her little little worker boots that are specifically meant for that she uses later, to climb trees to kill people. Anyway, she's climbing a pole to go work on the telephone line, and she's listening to her very 80s studio artist music. So it's just, yeah. Anyway, and that song stuck with me forever, and it determined my taste in 80s synth music. But she sees the ninja just stumbling along, like he either looks like a really drunk Asian guy, or he's really injured, and she's like, oh my goodness. And she gets down, and he sneaks up on her and entrances her like a vampire, and imparts his ninja soul into her. Well, suddenly she becomes extremely aggressive, and the guy who looks like off-brand Rob Lowe, who's the only good cop out of all those corrupt cops and all that, he really likes her, and she's like playing hard to get. And at some point they start making out, and she breaks out and he's like, wow, she's pretty aggressive and very fit, and she has all kinds of weapons around her house. And then she opens up a can of V8 and starts pouring it down her chest, and he starts leaking out like,
Real quick,
oh yeah.
just to give reference to anyone, if you could click on my share screen, this could add some context to what we're talking about.
Crap. Let me remove this off of here because it's not showing up on my end. Remove dude. Oh, there we go. Now I can add that to stage. Oh, there we go. Yep, V8. Oh, we even got the look at this. Look at that.
I honestly, when I pulled the movie up, I thought like the idea, just when you see just a small version of this picture, is somebody threw a can and it went into somebody's neck. And then I read the content advisor, was like, no, it's supposed to be, this is how vegans do foreplay.
That's so funny. Also, yo, True Pop Culture, good to see you, sir. Yeah.
Hi, True Pop, how you doing?
Not one, not two, but three, and I think there were more after that. And Proctophile, good morning, guys. I'll be lurking at the working. Good morning, Proctophile.
Nice.
Have a good one. Thank you, sir. But yeah, she's drinking through her stoma. Yeah, she's drinking through her stoma. But yeah, that is a scene that happened in the movie. And but she goes around and she starts just taking down every one of these police officers, and they're all doing something, like somewhat either nefarious, or they're with prostitutes. They're in one house, all playing cards and drinking and talking about stealing drugs from people and stuff like that. And she just keeps on taking down all these people, and eventually she gets into a hot tub with one of these cops and and his prostitute, and and she starts randomly making out with the guy, and she's like, and the other girl's like, you need to, like, what are you doing? You need to share, bitch. And so from then on, me and my brother said, you need to share, bitch. We always say that. Like, he said it just the other day.
It's an actual line.
Yeah, you need to share, bitch. And then so I will give away a little bit of the plot here. He takes
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know.
Not spoilers for Ninja 3.
She's got a poison ring, which basically fake jewel on top with base, like a little pin little pin, underneath it, and apparently, I guess it's covered in some type of hardcore poison. And so she hits the dude in the back, and that's all it takes for him to start, swelling up and dying. And then she's like, "What are you doing, bitch?" And then she comes over there and like goes right across her neck. And then I think she kills the towel boy too. I mean, she's
Oh
just
no!
yeah. So then the good ninja from Japan arrives. Yeah, he's a
Wait,
one-eyed
did the cowboy do anything wrong, or did he's caught strays?
witness caught astray.
Oh no!
Nah.
Was she bad?
When okay, the ninja that took her over is an evil ninja spirit. But and so she,
Oh.
it's taking revenge on all those people and more. Um, but then good ninja arrives from Japan and starts tracking down all the murders and all that, and finally meets up with her, and they have a ninja exorcism, and it leads to a ninja exercise ghost fight
It
crescendo.
sounds amazing.
Yeah,
And it
so
sounds and it's made infinitely funnier knowing that there is somebody who knows the movie so well they can actually explain it.
dude, I saw this so many times. I swear, I was like, "Oh, cool," because at least you're like looking at some of the choreography and uh the effects that they use. The natural physical effects that they use on it was actually pretty well done. At least enough, even for a part three. Like
I mean, its IMDb score does not indicate it is pure trash. It's like a 5 something, and
yeah.
I'm like, that's not the worst score in the
I'm
world
just
to
saying
get on
it could
IMDb.
have been
It's not
worse.
good,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I've seen far worse movies get into 5 or get
yeah.
I've seen like more mainstream movies get much lower than like 5.
Okay. Good morning, Cannoli. I'm sorry that you're back in reality and have to work now. I'm so sorry. But
Boo.
I hope that you had a great vacation. Well,
Yeah. Hope you had
yeah,
a V8 vacation.
yeah. I won't. I won't even. I won't even. But I might send some like. Never mind.
V8 is just marinara for when you're for when you need something light.
Oh my goodness.
Empanadas. 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 Empanadas.
Sorry. It felt like a good time to introduce the empanadas. Yeah. But
Found that yeah, we found that on X the other day, and there's someone long enough, you start to understand some of their comedic sensibilities. And so
you
there's
know how
certain memes
tardy
that
they
I
are.
share. Like there's certain memes that I share that I'm like, this one is universal. Everyone's gonna enjoy this probably. And then there's other ones where I'm like, everyone might enjoy this, but this person especially. Like if it has like stuff about, you know,
Hot
racism
dogs.
or something, Vex is really gonna like it.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
it's
yeah.
if it's if it's got like if it's like the Asian one where the dudes are passing the cigarette between each other, I was like, well, Whitey will really like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
if it's got Italian stuff, obviously cannoli or Batman, obviously cannoli. So yeah,
Yeah.
you over
You,
time
you know
you'll
people's
learn. You'll
memes.
learn. Exactly. You know what memes work for what people.
Yeah.
And that was one of those where I was like, okay. Like I do think Vex would probably like that one as well, because she likes kind of really out there goofy humor too. But I was like, Whitey will definitely appreciate this.
Yeah. Yeah. It ain't exactly butt cheek
Because
clapping.
it's one of those things that almost
Like
feels like one of your like an edit that you might do.
I mean, it does inspire me to actually do more of those and put them on this channel, because I feel like it would be a good time to reintroduce the most weird memes. I
Mhm.
think the other channel, my gaming channel, I think one of the memes that I made was an edit from what's his face, from from Red Dead 2, and I think it was just basically some crude joke about Arthur getting getting a bath and all that, and and yeah, and
Oh
conversation
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
and that one actually kind of blew up. And yeah, there are people like, see, I can't believe this is like children humor. Oh my god! I'm like, exactly, you dumb shit.
It's like, that's the point.
Yeah, and morning, Waylon. Hope you're having a good day so far, and you lurk as you lurk, sir.
I hope the scrote's in order. Anybody watch the Plot Strikes Back stream? I highly encourage people to watch at the very least the last hour of that stream. It got really wild and really goofy.
Oh wow.
It was funny. It was funny stuff.
I almost want
It
to play
was
the last 20 minutes of that stream that I saw you on. I think last week with the spider, you and Vex.
oh, the cockroach thing,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah,
That
yeah.
was yeah, that was pretty funny.
That
That was
was,
pretty funny.
and I had tuned in just right then, and I was like, "What is the context for this?"
Yeah, it just she she encountered a spider
A
or
spider,
not
man,
a
a
spider.
spider.
Not quite a spider. She encountered a cockroach. It was crawling on and it was one of those things where it built and built her like, well, shoot, we can just meme the crap out of this. And
Yeah,
I changed my profile picture and stuff to which I still have to this. uh, um but yeah, we just kind of ran with it and that's what you do is you make something of the moment and it becomes like an in episode meme that might even carry over later. It's fun.
uh, I like that it automatically added music to it. Like,
Yeah, I know. I love that.
Well,
Like I might like make this like my intro to my videos or something like that. Just randomly show that. At the very least, I'll I have a video in mind to do for Kill Bill, and I was like, well, this would be a great intro for that.
dude, I just watched both of them last night.
I just bought the whole bloody affair. You can buy that now, so
Oh,
I'm
okay,
really looking
okay.
forward to. I've watched a good bit of it, and it'll actually help the video at least to a certain degree because it adds context to the subject I want to talk about. If in fact I do it, but uh, I'm either gonna do that or I'm gonna do a relatively short kind of rant on Mario Galaxy. Now, granted, Reaper already did a great one uh, with the best title for a Mario video probably that could be made.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw his video, but it says Super Mario Galaxy. Epstein was right. You people are cattle.
Wow.
I was like, okay, that's pretty
You
great.
win. You win the title.
I was like, okay, that's pretty. I was like, I can't even add a great title to mine because it's like I'd feel like I would just be, uh, you know, it would almost feel like I was trying to one up him, and I was like, well, for one, I can't. Reaper's insane and in the best way, but I have things I would like to say about it because it's one of those. I find more and more that what gets me is narrative. Like that's what kind of annoys me is when the narrative is all wrong, and I think the narrative around that movie really bugs me. And I think whether you enjoy the movie or not's fine, but just know that if you're rewarding a studio for this is what you're gonna get moving forward. You're gonna get more Easter egg heavy slop with no story, no meaning, no point. Uh, it's it's not looking good for video game movies. I know we're still kind of at the tip of the iceberg with these kind of adaptations, but we're probably I mean, we might get a few loose decent ones here and there, but it's not going to be like the superhero boom we had where we started off with some bangers. I don't think we're going to get that. I don't know if we're ever going to get like a truly great video game adaptation. I don't know if that's ever going to happen because the standard is so low, because the quality of writing out there is so low, because studios aren't trying to make great movies. They're trying to make cash cows, and Illumination is proving you don't have to make a lot of effort to make a cash cow. You just have to, spatter in, uh, references, and people will go wild. And I'm like, that's why I've said for a while, it's like, okay, we can, piss and moan about studios, and you should obviously hold studios to account. But I'm like, I'm sorry, uh, fans should be held to account too.
Mhm.
Audiences, and I don't just mean like the quote unquote modern audience. I think audiences in general uh, are not helping the situation for the most part. audiences need a lecture at this point. And I don't know how you do. I mean, it's like I don't know anybody who could build a channel off of that idea, but at the same time, it's like, uh, y'all need to shape up because you're all gonna keep getting crap if you keep rewarding garbage like this, and that's because that's what's happening. Mario Galaxy is making a tit shun of money, one might say, and
That's the
moving forward,
craziest thing.
it's made over $600 million already, and it's been out less than 2 weeks, right on the cusp of its 2 weeks. Um, it's already at $600 million. It's gonna hit $1 billion almost certainly, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
like the
Well, that's
Mario
fine.
movies, Minecraft, these are the movies. We previously, before the first Mario Galaxy, we didn't have a video game movie that crossed the $500 million mark, let alone $1 billion. You know, now we've got the Mario Galaxy movies and Minecraft. I'm like, this is what you're rewarding. You're rewarding some of the worst video game slop possible. Now, granted, the first Mario Galaxy movie is not awful. I do think it's kind of bad, but there are moments which are decent. When I saw it, I thought they could build off of this and make something okay out of it. It's just this isn't a great movie. This is kind of a, you know, this is a lot of references. This
Yeah.
is throwing a whole lot of stuff at the wall and hoping something will stick. And I was like, maybe they build something off of this and do something decent, but that's not what they did. They just doubled down on the references. Like there's hardly a story. There's no character development. There's just thing happen. It's pathetic. Mario Galaxy is a terrible film, and people are like, "Oh no, it's good," and it's a love letter to fans. And I'm like, and I keep saying, it's like if this is what you think is a love letter, you probably have an abusive spouse.
Yeah, that was a good way to put it. I had I saw you tweet that out, and it's so sad too because like I don't know, I saw part 1, and genuinely they were like winning me over on the member berries on some things and all and their references, and I was like, oh, that's great, but really the substance wasn't super great. And yeah, we all reviewed it together and stuff like that, but like I said, there were moments where I was like, pointing at the screen, like the meme, and I like, look, and I, like, my wife, and I was like, this thing right here, that's that, and but all it was just the berries in the end. I didn't
I
really
have
like.
nothing against reference, by the way, if anyone's confused. Like, there's no problem necessarily with reference.
No,
Not inherently, but you
but
have to justify your reference. It's like it just being there.
just
That's not if you're literally just clapping because thing is there. Which, by the way, here I'm going to share my screen just so you know.
yeah, sir.
It's good. It is good streaming decor to have a visual reference that people can look to. It's like, oh, okay, they're talking about this.
Yeah.
That way you're not just looking at our mugs.
Yeah.
But I mean, for one thing, I think it's kind of baked into a lot of movies now that everyone wants to go against the critics. And look, I understand that critics today are garbage. I don't like this, and this is what people, I think, fail to understand a lot of the time, is they get caught in kind of this false dialectic, this idea that one thing I like about this image is you can see my rating for the film next to the IMDb rating. That's great. Tells you what I think of this crap. They think that if one thing is bad, well then you must take the opposite. You must take the opposite view. It's like, no, you can have two. It's like you can say that critics suck.
Mhm.
You can even point out that there are probably, not even probably, there are reviews of Mario Galaxy that are negative that are still wrong. Like I know EFAP covered Grace Randolph's review of this just like they did the first one. Her review of the first one is still one of the funniest reviews I've ever seen. It's so wild. But a lot of even what she'll say about this, even though she's not particular, I mean, she's actually probably a little bit higher on this movie than the first one, which is funny. But even some of the things she says in the negative about this, she's still wrong.
Yeah.
It's like you can still point out that critics are not doing their job well, even if they share your view. Like I see positive reviews for movies that I like sometimes, and I'm like, that's not what makes the movie good. What are you talking about? And you see the flip side of that as well. But it's so often people just say, well, if critics like a thing, I must dislike it, or vice versa. It's like, no, you don't have to think that way at all. You can just think for yourself and not give a crap what they say.
Mhm.
And then you can start to assess, like, well, here's what the critics are saying, and this is why they're wrong, or maybe even this is why they're right. I'll say this: the Metacritic rating for this, I'm like, yeah, that's closer to right. Uh,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily doing their job well. It's just like, okay, they have a low view of this overall, and I'm like, yeah, so do I. I don't have one because of them. I don't really care what they have to say. It's like, this is a bad movie because it's a bad movie. Yeah, it throws in references. Great. What's the point of them? Why are
Mhm.
they there? Just having them there is not enough. It's if that's all there is, how do you say a Marvel movie is bad? Because they're full of references. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, if we're all crapping on Marvel movies these days, it's like, well, Marvel movies are loaded with the key jangles. So if those are bad, why is this good? What's the difference? I mean,
Yeah,
how is one a love letter and the other one isn't? I don't get it.
and a lot of people point to like, well, they'll go right to, well, in the end, it's what the fans wanted. When critiquing usually the critics that they don't like, and then they'll say, and look how much money it made, and that is one of the
Which
worst
means
arguments.
absolutely, yeah. I hate when, I mean, look, I mean, you're gonna, I think more and more because I listen to so many debates, and I'm sure, and I know why you are
Too
too right now because
too quick.
yeah, too cool.
I beat you to it, baby.
Well, no, I wasn't going to use that one because that wouldn't fit this. But
I know.
appeals to popularity.
Yeah.
You know, that has nothing to do with whether or not something's good. Which you see that all the time. It's like, well,
Hmm.
it made a lot of money, or a lot of people like it. Like I know somebody, like, there was a little brief interaction I had with somebody. Now, granted, this was all in good spirits. We didn't like go at each other or anything like that.
Hmm.
He said that he thought Black Panther was a good movie. I said I didn't think it was. And we had, like, it was like 5 tweets all together between us. And he said, well, it is a movie that's highly rated, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's fine. I'm not telling you not to like the movie. I'm telling you, I don't think it's a good movie. I
Yeah.
think it's internally broken. He said, well, there is a lot of people who disagree with you. And I'm like, maybe that really doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, though. So, I mean, so it's popular. So what? That does not tell me a thing. It's like appeals to popularity. That's fallacious thinking.
Hmm.
I tried not to word it exactly like, what we'd hear Jay Dilla, where you
Yeah.
just say,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean, but that's a fallacy.
Yeah. That's the tattoo that you need right there. I'm not
that
trying to
that's
be
that would
mean,
be a
but
great T-shirt. That would be
yeah.
a great T-shirt.
That would be so funny. But yeah, I totally get that because it's I mean, there's so many things you can compare that to. It's like, well, the government, technically makes a lot of money and spends a lot of money. It must be a good business. It must be a very positive business and must work really well. And well, that's
Well, they spent a
very,
lot of money, so it
they
must
spend
be
a lot.
good. I
Yeah,
mean,
they're
well, and
making they're
here's the
making so
thing.
many
I
jobs.
I do think you could argue, not this wouldn't necessarily be like a strong like debate argument necessarily, but
Hmm.
when I hear people say, well, we don't need anything deep from Mario Galaxy. Number one, I hate when people say it's not supposed to be
It's a
deep or
kids
doesn't need to be
movie.
deep. And I'm like, okay, first of all, deep is such a vague kind of nebulous term.
Hmm.
No, I'm like, well, I'm not asking for like depth. I would be okay with surface level character work, surface level storytelling. Doesn't necessarily have to be like super deep. It's like, I'm saying there's no substance whatsoever. You don't have to go deep dive into, Mario characters or anything. Problem is there's just nothing character wise about them, period.
Right.
Uh it's not a question of depth, but here's the thing, if you're just saying, well, it doesn't even need that, it's like, well, then what's the justification for spending over $100 million to make this, other than to make more money? Because to me, if you're saying, well, that's part of the point is to make money, or and nothing against Leon, I like Leon obviously, but he knows we disagreed on this. And if you watch Niet's stream from this past Sunday, we all went kind of back and forth with him. He was like, yeah, kind of the ultimate goal with this movie is to make money. It's like, okay, fine. So what would be the argument against the Disney live action remakes? Because that is precisely the point of their existence. Part of why I despise the Lion King remake so
Right.
much is for very similar reasons to that. Now, I would say this movie is considerably less egregious than that, if for no other reason because there isn't a previous Mario Galaxy movie that this is just redoing.
Right.
So there was at least some effort to turn this into a film that, whereas the Lion King remake is basically just taking Lion King 1 and turning it into, CGI animation and just mapping the same story onto it with almost no additions and no further effort. It's some of the laziest voice acting you'll ever hear in your life. And I was like, the Lion King remake pissed me off because it was specifically designed to do nothing other than make money. And for that reason, I absolutely hated it. Now, like I said, there's a little bit more effort than that in this film, but not a whole lot more, because I do think ultimately that's the whole point of it is, well, we're going to make a ton of money off of this. So why should we even care to put effort into the characters or effort into the story? Like, and I've been saying this the last couple of weeks. It's like Illumination learned all of the wrong lessons from the Despicable Me films.
Mhm.
I think the first Despicable Me, like I've seen 3 of them and Minions. I'm not particularly fond of Minions. I don't utterly despise the movie, but I think it's a bad film. Despicable Me 2 and 3 I think are kind of meh. They're not horrible, but they're kind of forgettable. Despicable Me 1 I really like.
Yeah.
But I think they learned all of the wrong lessons from that. I think instead of learning, oh, people are drawn to, nice, kind of sweet,
Wholesome.
wholesome stories. Because Despicable Me, I wouldn't consider that a deep film, but it has some themes and
got
storytelling
heart.
character beats that they resonate. They have heart to them. But all they learned from that film, it seems, is, oh, the Minions are a great mascot that make tons of money.
Yes.
That's all they learned from it, and that's from then on, that has been their approach. I think the reason Despicable Me tends to rise above the rest of the crop for them is because they built off of an actual story. So having even a little bit of continuity is going to help with those. But they have gotten progressively worse. I've heard Despicable Me 4 isn't bad. I haven't bothered to watch it, but everything else they've made just about is complete garbage. Their Grinch movie is, oh gosh, it is awful. That is the worst possible version of the Grinch they could have made. Like, I can't believe anybody out there likes the Illumination version of the Grinch. It's a pathetic film, especially if you compare it to either
And creepy
of
looking.
the other Grinch movies. It's terrible, and pretty much everything else Illumination has done has been just complete slop. I mean, I I know that they're not Disney and Pixar, who are kind of aggressively like message heavy. And
Mhm.
Illumination, I would not accuse of being like too message heavy. I think they have a little bit of that stuff, but I don't think they're pushing it on you. I think the Super Mario Galaxy movies have had a bit of girl bossery in them with Peach and whatnot, but
Yeah.
it's not quite as aggressive. But I'm like, that doesn't make Illumination like the like some shining beacon of contrast to Pixar, because they're still mostly making complete garbage. If anything, I would still give that title to DreamWorks, because DreamWorks, at least in the last few years, did put out Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which is one of the greatest animated movies ever made. So, which myself and Pops just did a show together, and he'll be putting that out soon. But if you want to watch a great animated movie, go watch that. That's what effort looks like. Puss in Boots didn't. If you watch the first Puss in Boots, I like it. I think it's fine, but nothing from that movie made me think that we'd go from that to a sequel, which I remember when the sequel came out and just thinking, why are they making this?
Why?
It's been years since anything Shrek. It's been years since the first Puss in Boots movie. Why in the world are they doing the sequel to this? And then it comes out and you watch it and you're like, oh my gosh,
Well done. Yeah.
the effort they put into this, the character work, the writing, it's spectacular. And it's a beautiful film. I mean, it's actually, beautiful, like, to look at. And I was like, it sticks out like a sore thumb in the 2020s, because most of the 2020s has been freaking awful. But
Yeah.
that movie stands out like a sore thumb because it is just immaculate. It's like, I would call that a masterpiece. I think Puss in Boots 2 is a masterpiece. It's one of the few movies I would, it might actually be like one of maybe 2 or 3 movies that I would lean towards giving a 9 or a 10 out of 10 out of the 2020s. There's maybe 3 of those.
Yeah, I just remember that I hadn't even seen part one at the time, but I saw part two. I was just like, is this really something I hadn't even talked to you guys about it at the time and all that, and I found out that you ended up really enjoying it, and so confirmed that I wasn't just totally retarded here, as just
Well,
liking
and it's one of
freaking
those movies that the more you watch it, the more you realize how much effort they put in and how
yeah.
just well crafted it is. Um, this was my 3rd time going through it, watching it for Pops' stream, and I was like, "Geez, there's so much love and care put into this." I mean, there's because of the era it's come out in. I was like, I wondered if, gosh, did they even realize how good this movie was when they were putting it on? Did they know that they were making something this great? But man, it's wonderful. It is absolutely wonderful, and I think like Puss in Boots 2 holds up in any era. It's so good.
Yeah, I'd seen you had posted on the Twitters on X there, like movies to know me, and yeah, I saw that in there. Let's see. But all right, well, let me do a transition here to over to the Twitter. But first, all right, had to have a moment there.
Those are our between topic vignettes.
Yeah, I figured. Well, I got all these meme videos
I
saved
like
up.
it. I like it. I like it. More.
Oh, hi, Mark.
My Mark.
All right, let me get into this. So, all right. I thought I'd use this as a placeholder while we were getting into the other topics, but Tommy West. So I'm glad that he knows this is just pretty crazy.
It's funny. I see this on the stream on YouTube. I don't personally see. I mean, I know what you've got up there, thankfully, by
Mhm.
looking at our show, but I don't actually see your Twitter feed right now. Weirdly enough, but it's fine. Whatever. I know what you're talking about right now. So.
Well, that's not helpful at all. That's not a helper. Yeah, I guess you might have to look at the stream through like your phone or something. That is unfortunate. I could actually let me share my screen also on whatchamacallit on StreamYard. StreamYard. All right, share screen.
That's probably why, yeah, is that it's not. Yeah.
There we go. I think this one. Yeah. 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 Actually, I need to edit that because I don't want to share the audio from that because I can share it. I can do it myself. Let me. I know this is deeply entertaining, y'all, but
It's where
gotta
you
get.
play like the waiting music, some elevator music. Just
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's share the screen on here, but I don't want to share the audio because I'll be sharing. I think it'll end up sharing it twice.
like this is one of those things that is so clever and funny and kind of it's such a good looking image as far as like for a meme. I'm like, did he actually make this? It's like, is Tommy Wiseau secretly kind of genius? Or is this somebody in control of his account who
I think
put this together?
this comes from another account here. What? Oh, no. Yeah, he did make that, dude. I think he made that.
Yeah, I mean, well, I know it was his account that put that out, and that's where I first shared it. But I was like, did he actually make this? Because that's really funny, and it looks. I mean, it actually looks like it's a funny looking and kind of good looking like parody poster. Like this is kind of great.
I love it. I highly endorse this. All right, so let me scroll on down here because we'll there's the classic taco. Stop him. All right, all right. You you can see where I had to pull this thankfully shitpost game account.
I
Had this
didn't like, it's funny is like I posted a little joke about the taco thing and I was like, I still have no idea quite what that meant. I just thought when I saw it was funny, so I was like, shoot, I'll put it out there with that because I know it was on our, what's happening thing, but
Mhm.
I put it out there and people thought, what are you trying to say? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what the taco thing even is, dude. I just know that these two things are coinciding, and I thought that was funny. That's all I
Yeah.
said. But apparently, like that was actually a thing related to, I guess, to whatever Trump was doing at that time.
Yeah, yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
all right,
They started
okay.
basically making an acronym, I think, with taco or something like that.
Hmm.
I they need prayer. I don't know. They're just so tardy. Okay. All right. We're counting on you, Taco. Oh, how dare you actually comment? Make light of
I mean,
retarded.
I didn't get attacked or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was just I was like, guys, I don't understand the relation between these.
Hmm. All right. Got to have a moment here. Appreciating some really quick comedy on over on Kill Tony.
Mark Norman,
I
you
never
look like
I
a
don't
puppy
see
waiting
or
to get
hear this.
adopted. Bitch, shut your
With the green, you look like Shrek.
I don't know what you're sharing.
Really? Freaking really?
I don't see or hear
Oh,
this.
yeah. Sorry, I didn't add it to stage for you. I'm sorry. There you go.
Okay, there it is.
Smell that now. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well then now I need to turn off, I think.
I thought on the what's happening for a second said Goldman sucks. I was like, no, it's Goldman Sachs. Sorry.
Goldman
Goldman
sucks.
sucks. Freaking Goldman. Goldman's the worst.
Gold man. All right. So you see that still?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see.
Mark Norman, you look like a puppy waiting to get adopted. Bitch, shut your
With the green, you look like Shrek. I like the dreads, Blob Marley.
I don't even got a joke against your motherfucking
Drinking right
abusive
now.
stepdaddy.
You don't know you're dead.
I do know my dad. He's cremated, living in my garage right now.
Even your dad's ashy.
He won. I think he won that one.
Well, that's kind of a landslide. And I think even the other guy, he knew that he's like,
He's
I
like,
can't top that.
I'm kind of cooked here, sir.
Uh-huh.
All right. So, and random butter,
Roasting is an art. Roasting is an art.
random butter
This is
bean.
Cannoli's. This is clearly Cannoli's alternate account, Sasquatch Unfiltered.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. I didn't even realize that crap.
Butterbean's like it's funny because I like Butterbean in a way like if he were around like doing this today, he'd be perfect for like those of prize fight events that we do now
Yeah.
that are making like Butterbean would be like just swimming in money right now at this point
Like
because
Jake Paul would not even want to.
no, Jake Paul would not have touched this guy. No way. I mean, it's like that he would have gotten killed. And that's not to say that Butterbean could, like, there's plenty of like legit blocks of butter, in their prime Butterbean, couldn't do anything against. But
Yeah.
In this kind of prize fighter era, dude, he'd be absolutely killing it.
Just look at this guy's face as he lands these. Okay, look. Okay, I just want to go frame by. He goes like, "Oh."
That's the face of regret and unconsciousness.
Yeah, like I just had my life taken away from me by a guy named Butter fucking Bean. This was kind of random. I saw that stuff on Monu had posted about.
I heard about this. I didn't listen to it.
Yeah, so apparently Newsom's wife recalls telling prisoners in San Quentin about running over and killing her sister with a golf cart. Basically, she's saying like, hey, accidents.
Wait, she killed her?
She killed her as a kid.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And she's just like, so basically, people, these prisoners are just one mistake away from being in prison.
And
I could have.
the fact that you're talking about it so number one, can we just point out that Gavin and his wife, if any two people looked like lizard people wearing human skin suits,
Right.
it's this couple. Holy crap. they barely look human at this point.
Uh,
I mean, there's a shine, there's a little bit of uncanny valley going on with these two that kind of creeps me out.
it
Which, by the way, I don't have many things that genuinely get under my skin consistently, but uncanny valley does. So this is now granted, this is not as egregious as some of the other stuff, but like the uncanny valley stuff, like not all like there's levels to it, but at a certain level, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to deal with that for too long because I'm like, I can't look at this too long without getting just severely uncomfortable. And now,
yeah.
granted, they actually say that's instinctual. They say there's actually something about that is kind of embedded in all people that at a certain level we're all kind of freaked out by uncanny valley because it's something that's clearly off. That kind of gets to us. Some people think that there's maybe something in our past that maybe sometime in our past, like we dealt with things that weren't quite human but resembled human, and we developed like a survival instinct against them. I'm like, okay, I think it's an interesting thing that'd be worth examining, but I doubt that anybody's got a clear cut notion of what that really is. But it's interesting all the same. I know at the very least it's true of me. I've seen some uncanny valley stuff, and I'm just like, no, it's no thanks. I don't want to deal with it.
For me, it's just amazing, and it's true because it's true. To quote the great Gavin Newsom, it's true because it's true.
It's true 'cause it's true.
That's gonna eternally be hilarious, and the fact that people keep on voting that guy in is just ridiculous, man.
California's retarded.
Oh yeah, I mean it's all weird.
But I mean, it's you're talking about killing your sibling, and it's just in this casual, matter of fact fashion, and I'm like, that's psychopathic.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care how much time has passed. That would be, even if you don't quite remember it, I would think that a human would have, a guilt response to bringing something like that up. I mean, I've hurt, siblings before, like physically hurt before just because like, well, I was older and I didn't realize what was it like. Okay, I'll tell you a story. Probably the guiltiest I've ever felt in regard to one of my siblings. It was totally an accident, but okay. So we were at a grocery store, um, and I was holding one of my sisters like up on my shoulders, and she's probably like, I don't remember how old she was at the time, maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5, something like that. And they had like this little cardboard cutout on top of they had like a stack of like 12 packs of soda. They had a little cardboard cutout that was on there. And she was on my shoulder and she was kind of holding on. That's how she, like, I was holding her legs, but she was also like, she had her hands like literally like kind of sort of around my neck, but so it was like that kind of dual bit of support.
Yeah.
And this cardboard thing fell, like it tipped, and so she just reacted instinctively. And well, we kind of both reacted simultaneously, I guess. And we both I let go of, I think, one of her legs or maybe both of them, and she let go of my neck at the same time. So she just fell right off of my shoulders. She hit the back of her head on the ground.
Oh yeah.
And got hurt. And we took her to the doctor, and she had like a bit of blood like that built up around like her brain and everything. This could have been really serious if it hadn't been treated, which so hearing that, like, at first, because you're like, especially with kids, there is obviously the initial panic, but then when like the crying dies down, you start to think, okay, I guess they're okay.
Yeah.
But now granted, she actually, she'd stopped crying, but she was like, it hurts. So like, okay, you need to take her to the doctor. We need to make sure of this. And yeah, like that's what we heard. And I was like, the guilt I felt, and there's still a pang of guilt when I talk about it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
She's fine. I mean, she's in her 20s at this point.
She only twitches a little bit.
But oh my gosh, just the fact that that happened with me, you know, taking care of her in the moment,
Mhm.
like,
It sticks with you.
really got, I mean, yeah, it really got to me.
Mhm.
Uh, because I was like, gosh, what if it had gotten worse? You know,
Yeah. Hit a
like not
corner.
even not even necessarily like, you know, oh, what if she died or something? It's like, well, what if it, like, you know, affected her mental faculties or something like that? You know, what if
Mm.
it done something serious like that? It's like that happened while I was taking care of her. So yeah, it's one of those things that it's really hard to let go. And yeah, it's like I bring that story up and I'm like, gosh, it's ugh, it just this sensation of just dread and guilt starts to come over me because I'm just like, ugh, I hate that that happened, you know, while I was taking care of her. Uh, that I hold some responsibility for that. But listening to this lady talk about this and bring it up like sounding so
And not
casual,
yeah, and yeah, to do it
it's
out in
so
public,
bizarre.
to relate it to some type of topic that she's trying to fight for politically and stuff like that, to sympathize with another group and all that. Like, yeah, and I hear you. Like, I was a kid, and I found a baby bird, and I was like, I guess it was about 5 and all that, and we had this really pretty pond and all that, and that baby bird was like, there was no mom. It was just like it had dropped out of a tree, and nobody was, nothing was gonna retrieve it. And so I was like, well, I'll build it like a little rock house and or something like that. I don't know, I got Legos or shit, so I tried to build a rock house. And my dad was like, like, listen, hey, you might just want to let that go out into the yard. And, he's basically letting me know like something's going to swoop down and come and get it. So nature will take care of it. Like you just need to kind of leave it be. I was like, okay, but I didn't. And then I was like, well, crap, it's really hot out here. I better go give it a drink. So I take it over to the pond and I give it a tiny drink of water. And then the bird just kind of dies right there. I freak out and end up like halfway smashing the bird, and like because I'm trying to hug it and try to give it mouth to beak and stuff like that. And I'm like, holy shit! So I just like I get dispose of the bird and throw it underneath the shed and like freak out until my dad finally finds me. He's like, yeah, you're all right. And he explains, like, hey, this is what happened. This is why you freaked out, and just kind of explained it to me. But those moments right there, you don't say it as, like those stick with you and they should affect you. They should, kind of teach you a lesson. Like, and it's nowhere near as, as dealing with a human, but like, you don't want to be that kid that, hurts animals. You don't want to, like, be, I don't know. It's like trying to use something like that to sympathize with people who are in there for every sort of crime under the sun. And you're like, I've ran over my sister with a fucking golf cart and it killed her. Like, what the hell is wrong with you, lady? Don't
Yeah.
know. So I'll play this one quick second and then we'll move on.
I mean, I had to be very raw when we interviewed the
I'm
young
being
men
very
who were
raw.
juvenile offenders in San Quentin. I told them about my own loss, where
Kids that are in San
Well,
Quentin have
and her
done.
framing it, that's a weird way to frame that. My own loss. It's like, mm, that's not generally how you. I mean, it's okay. I get that there's an element of loss to it, but 'cause it is a family member of yours. But
Uh huh.
I would, you're making it about you, my
Yeah.
own loss, and it's like, well, uh, I'd probably be. I think most people, if they were referring to an accident that they caused, would not
Mhm.
be calling it their loss. They'd be calling it, like this horrible thing I did or
Right.
this horrible mistake I made. And again, I'm not saying she did it on purpose or anything
No,
like
but
that.
that's meant
Nothing
for
like
like
that. But
trauma, helping people through trauma, maybe not, helping people who, I mean, the kids are not there for tax evasion. They're not there
yeah,
because, they've, drank too many times behind the wheel or, they've, had some issues with their ex. These kids are so bad that they actually got sent, even in San Quentin, of all places, they were bad enough to not just be let off, but, to actually go to a prison.
well, plus, gosh, if you're in San Quentin, it's like you're not there because you made a mistake as a kid. Assuming this happened when she was a kid. Did she say what age she was when she ran her? Do we know how
Let's
old she was when it happened?
I'm gonna see.
Yeah,
I
let's
think
watch. Let's
yeah,
listen. I think we'll just play it, listen to it. It's not like it's
my
copywritten.
I
yeah.
lost my older sister a few days before my 7th birthday.
7th. There
Okay,
you
so
go.
she was a kid when this
Mhm.
happened. Okay, so that tells us at least that context. So, okay, this was a mistake, and I'm not trying to frame this as anything other than a mistake. Again, I think the way she's talking about it is weird,
Yeah.
but also, gosh, this is the part that it more makes it egregious that she is comparing this to somebody ending up in San Quentin. People don't end up in San Quentin because they accidentally commit a crime like that. It's like you end up in San Quentin because you make a choice.
Mhm.
You make a choice to do something horrible.
Right.
Relating that to being a prisoner in San Quentin is
Mhm.
insanity. It's like, why would you bring up such a like what sounds like what happened with her was a tragic mistake. That's not what gets you into San Quentin, generally speaking.
Right. That's what
That's
I'm
not how
saying.
that works.
Say this at some type of place where you're having to help people through like trauma clinics and stuff like that, or maybe at rehab, and like somebody at rehab is like, why did you get on drugs? Well, let me give you a good example. I felt guilt because even though I was a kid, I accidentally killed my sister, and then I end up like blaming myself and guilt using drugs, blah blah blah, and it led to this and that. Maybe that would be the opportune time to help give people hope, that hey, you can move on from things and all that, and you can. But this is to the wrong audience here.
And I blame myself for her death. And I share that because that they ultimately were accused of committing these violent crimes and sentenced for
Accused.
life. And I think it
Well,
shocked them that
not
this
accused, not accused. If you end up in San Quentin, you're
Convicted.
more, yeah, you've gone beyond the realm of accused. You're convicted, exactly. And look, we understand that there's exceptions and that there are some people who get convicted who are wrongfully convicted, but that's not normally the case.
That's not all of this prison. It's like these poor kids that didn't do really nothing.
I mean, because
blonde.
like what it sounds like she's advocating for is opposite of how you like. Okay, if you're saying we have too many people in San Quentin, like we think there's people getting convicted or over sentenced. Okay,
Yeah,
that's one thing.
disproportionately.
Like if you think there's an actual issue there, that's one thing. But relating that to a tragic mistake that happened when you were like 6, 7 years old, not at all the same thing. Like that this is example number 5,402 of why women do not need to have any political power whatsoever because they are emotionally driven. Now, granted, this might be devoid of emotionally driven, but it's like it's an emotional appeal for
Mhm.
certain. And I'm like, it's an absolutely insane one.
Yeah, that's a terrible argument of why. Uh, I don't know. These aren't accidents. These aren't not accidents. Like, well, getting caught up in a game, that's an accident. Yes, all 98% of them were definitely in there because they just they were all just bred. Like, are you saying that people are bred into it? Like, what are you saying here? I don't get her justification. Well, let's finish her out.
Lady who was, the interviewing them had a similar story. Was perhaps in the wrong place at the wrong time.
His eyes are going both different ways. I would not trust her with laser beam eyes at all. Okay, sorry.
But wasn't punished the way they were because clearly it was an accident, but theirs was probably an accident too.
What makes you say that?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? What do you mean it was probably an accident? What do you like? Do you have a specific case in mind?
Did you
What are you talking
accidentally
about?
rob that liquor store? Did you
I just
accidentally?
stumbled in. I stumbled in the liquor store. My gun flew out of my pocket in my hand. It just pointed. Oh, sorry. I'm not trying to rob. Oh, the cops are here. Damn
Yeah,
it.
it's like that whole
what?
like meme video of somebody like I meant to eat healthy today, and they slip, fall, elaborately fall, and then fall face first into and open up a bag of donuts and eat them. Like, no, that's not how crime works, lady. Yeah.
Nope, that's not how you end up in San Quentin.
Yeah,
Finish it off. Let's go ahead and
Yeah.
we'll
So
finish it off.
anyway, I share that just because I guess I quite enjoy
talking about myself,
spending time with people and being real and unmasking,
being real,
and showing
Oh
them that
gosh,
it's safe.
the unmask. She said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, this brings me back
I like
to
to
the.
show them my scales, and I like to. It's like I like to like loose my long tongue and just lick them all around their face.
It keeps bringing me back to those two lizards I saw this morning. Biting the tail of that lizard. Chasing the lizard around while being attached to that tail, and then making the frogs. But anyway, yeah, lizard people. Anyway,
Mask themselves.
Beautiful.
unmask themselves. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. It's so beautiful. All right, I'd rather look
Oh,
at freaking
gosh.
Tommy Wiseau.
Tommy Wiseau is far Tommy, to his credit, at least he never wore the mask to begin with.
No.
He came right out as the lizard person, and we love him for it.
Who's your idol? And he's like Christopher Walken's acting style. No. Oh, hi, Mark. Okay. Sorry. Do I have that?
Please clap.
No. That's that.
You do have. I mean, you've had it before.
Oh, there we go.
There you
There we go.
go. There we go.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
You,
So
need to get some. You need to get some tape and put that.
yeah. Oh no, it's kind of fun going through all the other ones though.
The bite of 87?
Yeah, that one's a classic. All right. So I saw that Copa had posted this, and there was some argument, going in, or a discussion, a little bit of debate about.
Was there debate? Because
Yeah,
I only
there-
saw like people who thought, yeah, this looks like trash, but
Yeah, I
didn't know this
guess
spurred any debate. Interesting.
perhaps I'm thinking of somebody else, but yeah, we start going into Ziggs. Ziggs was basically saying it's not AI generated, so better in that aspect, but it's also corporate slop and animators, and it goes into this conversation here. And
Oh, okay, about AI. Yeah, well, I didn't think this looked like AI. I just thought it looked like a low effort.
yeah. Oh well, the conversation is is this better than AI? Like how people are constantly like
Oh, okay, yeah. 'Cause
it's
I
either
didn't
one
think
or
much
the
about the
other.
question.
Yeah.
Is it better than AI? I would say yes, it's better
Mhm.
than AI because I mean, now granted, if there's some qualifiers I guess you have to add to that because AI can be used as an enhancement for things that you did in fact draw and you did in fact
Right.
animate, I suppose.
Mhm.
Like so there are some qualifiers for this. It's a there's some nuance to the discussion. But I mean, the reality, it's like whether you think it's better or worse than AI, it's like I don't think you could call this anything other than low effort. It looks, gosh, some of those look
I mean,
horrifically
it
bad.
seriously looks.
I mean, this. I mean, I could make this in DaVinci. I could make something like this in DaVinci Resolve. I legitimately could.
It's like
I mean, in fact, if I were reviewing Invincible, this would be kind of a hilarious thing to do. It's like I'm going to recreate this, these scenes using my own PNGs and just use some backdrops and move them around a little bit. I could. It's like you could do that.
And thing
like
is
that looks horrible.
these people are also not thinking. The people who are arguing about this is, arguing against AI. I mean, is that I want to tell you the difference right here, and I thoroughly explained it in my comment back and all that. But right here, you have a background image. This is all done on Adobe Premiere. You have a very large, background image, and I'm not, trying to speak to you like a kid. I'm just, talking to the audience like they're kids. Boosh. No, I'm kidding. But
Freaking children.
chitlins. So you have one background, maybe even a video, or maybe just basically effects that go over top your background here, and they reuse this background a lot. So this is an asset that they have plenty of things to add on top of. So this is probably not a video. This is just a moving asset. So that's all that is. Then you have the far away zoomed out version of this, same PNG. And the drawings, going from this to that, now that that's real different aspects and all that. But all it is like 4 frames, and that's all you had to do. You're basically moving a GIF, and then that's a zoom out. This is all, like I said, Adobe Premiere. I could actually do this on CapCut. That's how little effort. And this is up, down, up, down, up, down on a timeline, and then they're moving the whole scene around. That takes some hard work right there, guys. Okay. You have
Yeah,
bird.
it's and here's it's like not okay, like this image, for example, not all of it is low effort. It's like, okay, you got a backdrop, you had to animate the birds. It's just, yeah, okay, they took shortcuts. Clearly they took
Mhm.
shortcuts. Uh which sucks, it's like that's not commendable. You should it's like some of these I mean, like this looks genuinely terrible. Is it still would I still say it's better than AI? Yes, I do think it's better than AI.
Mhm.
But it's again, fault like it's like you don't want to be put in this, position where you're having to say, well, one's good and one's bad. It's like, no, they
Yeah.
can both be bad. We can say they're both
Yeah,
bad.
they can both
They're
be
both
good and they can
really
both.
freaking bad.
And using AI on things that you've created, to me, absolutely is not a big freaking deal. And people need to get over that. But this looks exactly like a very early Simpsons episode back when I watched them, and they had to edit an episode. And yeah, the superhero character says, "I'm sorry, I have to go away." A bad voiceover comes in. "I'm sorry, I have to go away. My planet needs me." And a cutout drawing basically just floats up out of the screen. Like that. That's what I'm seeing right here at this moment. That dude just goes, he's like, "All right, bitches, I'm out."
I think part of what's happening with Invincible in particular
Mhm.
is so they're on season 4, and this show started in 2021, and I'm like, okay, you're all putting this out way too fast.
Mhm.
That's why I think part of why you're seeing so many shortcuts taken. They've
Trying to
got
keep up that steam, baby.
Yeah, it's like you've got 32 episodes made. What is it? 10? I think it's like something like 10 episodes a season. So they'll get to 40, I guess, by the end of this one. But I'm like, okay, if you're, whatever the number is, whether it's 8 or 10, whatever, they're, it seems to me they're trying to pump these out way too fast. But if you actually were trying to go full animation, it's like you would take your time with it. You'd make sure you're trying to make it look good, and you would maybe release every other year.
Mhm.
But it really seems like what they're because I mean, well, like if I'm not mistaken, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, there was some pretty big gaps between between seasons there too, because it was animated and because the quality of animation was actually, was really strong. Let's see, that show premiered in 2005. How long did it run? Just want to make sure of this. I mean, well, I mean, they actually went to 2008, so it wasn't super long. It was like 4 years, I guess, to do 3 seasons. So, and there were more episodes of that. So, uh, maybe the team is smaller or something like that, or
Mhm.
maybe just Avatar, just they worked harder. But I mean, well, they definitely worked harder. They put out a far better animated program, and the animation is
It's
infinitely better.
also
But
where if you're
but
outsourcing
it's
your
yeah.
animation.
Regardless, it seems like there's shortcuts going on
Mhm.
here. Maybe you have people that are overworked. Maybe you have a small team doing all this, but geez, this looks very low effort. Like this is the kind of thing. It's like if you were to do this like in a YouTube video, I think it'd be fine because
Mhm.
YouTube videos there's a little bit of comedic value to doing goofy stuff like this. You're trying to sell like Invincible's serious. It's a relatively serious show.
Yeah,
It's meant
this
to
is
be
going to
serious.
be
It's like
setting a standard. And
yeah,
yeah, like Proctify was saying here, Invincible taking on season 3 of One Punch Man in the battle of of the bad animation. Um, let's see, Invincible wasn't good. I like season 1 because it was something new. Now, I totally agree there because the very first episode we see in Invincible, that you can see that they put effort into the animation there. And I mean, the very first episode, you see some dramatic shit. We were all kind of like taken aback, like, holy crap, it's, superheroes doing what, superhero things if they were, like just totally like one had turned on the team kind of thing. And it was wild to see. Like, I was like, pretty amazed by it. It was, shocking. But that also kind of quickly died down. It's like getting a hold of like The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead should have probably only been like 3 seasons long, in the
yeah,
end,
3
because
or 4
you
maybe.
lose
Yeah,
the shock value, pretty quick, and all that, unfortunately. So, same thing, and then of course we got The Boys, that show that was coming out, and it was like, oh look, the people who you're supposed to like are doing bad things. Like it's just more of that shit. So not a big fan. But anyway, yeah. So kind of sum it up. I'm just not a fan of the black and white battle between is AI better, and but I totally get what Koba's saying here. It's just people absolutely need to kind of like look into both sides of the argument here. Whenever they're putting down AI and this and that, it's like this honestly right here has lowered itself down, in my opinion, like below AI. Like they could have taken their images, put them
Yeah, because
into
to me, that's a better argument. Is
yeah,
if your animation quality is so low effort that it's even going to get compared to AI, it's like okay, that's a problem. It's like
right.
if you're doing it so bad that we even have to ask this question, because I do think it's a fair question.
hmm
But
I thought
again,
this
I would
was
still
absolutely fake when I saw it. I thought, oh, somebody posted like like they're making fun of the animation, and this is
yeah.
actually animation from the episode. Where it's just like meh, 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 meh. Like this looks like the movement of it. I mean, looks like it's the same frames for that you would put in cells for a Super Nintendo game, or something like that. Worse, maybe. So anyway, yeah, that's where we are on that. Okay, well, I just wanted to throw that one at you. There's empanadas. Uh, oh yeah, random,
Already.
not but German special forces dressed in medieval chainmail deployed at subway with sticks.
Okay, it's like
Yes,
Germany. What are we
yeah,
doing over here, guys?
yeah. But look at that, look at that.
You got our chainmail on day. It's
He's
like,
he's got they
um,
got their coif, they got their leggings, they've got everything going on here. And if it's to
no,
that point,
it's not like Star Wars. I hate to tell you all. Whoever put that caption is like, that ain't like Star Wars.
no, this is like I whoa whoa whoa. Okay.
It's like Tard Wars, but
Let's say Procto asks, what are they're putting out such low quality work to justify the use of AI later. I think that I think that they are setting a standard, dude. I think that they are really setting a standard that you should expect less, and while they receive the same amount of money. So, uh, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's some wild shit, and that means you need to get your country under control because you're having to use chainmail to stop getting cut by machetes. By I don't know who does that around there. I don't know what why German police would be doing this and what they imported to their nation, but I don't know about that. Anyway, so
yeah.
really quick thing. I haven't seen this. I've stayed away from. I've never looked at anything about having to do with Animal Farm. It looked. It always seemed creepy to me. I just never did.
It is a good book that you should
Mhm.
read.
Okay.
It's a really good book. 'Cause I mean, I read that just that was the if anyone doesn't know, I've been kind of the last 6 weeks I've been reading a lot of stuff. I've been wanting to uh
How
you
many
know
are you up to now?
uh
In in this recent go. I mean,
well, let's see. I've got the list. Well, I've got most of the list up on the Twat Earth.
mm,
I won't pull up the list. I'll just say what's there because
okay.
I have it. But anywho, as far as Animal Farm goes, yeah, Animal Farm it was actually the first book I read. Okay, so here it is. So 6 weeks in, I read Animal Farm, I read Blood Meridian, Call of the Wild, Call of Cthulhu, The Color Out of Space, The Death of Ivan yeah, Ilyich. Yeah, Death of Ivan Ilyich. Yeah. Dream Story, Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Of Mice and Men, and I Have No Mouth But I Must Scream. So yeah, mix of books and short stories
Okay.
I've been reading.
Refreshing
And
yourself on the classics, kind of.
well, I mean, most of these I had never read. Actually, the only ones I had read is I think I read Of Mice and Men like when I was in maybe middle or high school,
Yeah.
and I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. I've read that once before as well, and I had read most of Blood Meridian before this more recent time, uh, but I decided to start it over and go through it completely. One of the greatest novels I've ever read. Uh, but all those other ones I had never read before. The Death of Ivan Ilyich, that was the main one I read this week, which was interesting. It was good. It's kind of depressing and sad with a little bit of hope at the end, but
hmm
uh, kind of a sad, depressing story and everything. But Animal Farm, that's a really interesting kind of relatively short novel. Like you could actually put on the audiobook for it and maybe be I don't know, 3-4 hours, something like that. It's
Yeah,
not super long. Uh,
like the
but
Green
it's a
Mile.
really neat story. Yeah. Um,
Oh,
but it's very much a story that kind of demonstrates the dangers of like communism. It's very much showing that, like demonstrating all that. Uh, it appears with this movie, and it's so weird that it's coming out of Angel Studios. They're going the opposite route,
Yeah,
making it about capitalism being bad, and I'm like, oh boy. So this is one I probably will watch, having read the book more recently and having kind of
yeah, it'd be good for you to
being kind of
critique
refreshed
it.
on it. Uh, I'm stunned that this is coming out of Angel Studios of all places. Like
Hmm.
that really, I find that genuinely bizarre.
I know that they had that large council that basically, if they want to bring a script up, basically it has to be voted on by many people, priests of many faiths and all that, and then that decides if it goes through. And then they ask the audience, hey, would they ask all the people, hey, would you like us to do this? And I highly doubt that they told them, oh, by the way, we're gonna totally remake the story, or we're totally gonna just basically change the entire point of the story, because they're supposed to be asking their audience, do
Like
you
I'll be
want
honest, I don't
this?
know how the story can work otherwise.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like if you read like I do recommend at the very least listening to the audiobook. I found one you can watch. You can listen to it on YouTube. It's 3 hours. It's almost exactly. It's like 3 hours and 3 minutes. Uh, so it's very quick. Something. It's one of those things you can just listen to while at work or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's a relatively simple book to follow.
Hmm.
It's not like overly complicated. It doesn't use a ton of big words or anything like that. Uh,
That's good.
it's a story that really you could read at age like 12. It
Yeah.
probably should be a story that kids at age 12 are reading, because it's a good kind of cautionary tale. And here's the thing, it's not uh to be clear, it's not 100, like it does have some critiques for the opposing side, which I think is fair. I do think capitalism can be critiqued, and I do think there are pitfalls that exist with any economic system. Like my
Hmm.
problem with communism is I think communism is bad at the root. I don't think like to me, a good system, any good system can be corrupted.
Right.
Communism comes with inherent corruption because it involves theft. Um, so to me, it's like that system can't, it won't work because it inherently has a problem. Um, I know, like the attempt is for it to be kind of an offshoot of like maybe like a familial kind of homogenous structure of doing things, where you're kind of collectively working towards the good of like a family unit. But the reason communism doesn't work is because families all have different interests, which naturally they will. Families kind of have to have different interests aside from like having different values. Your location can create differences in needs and whatnot.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, Animal Farm like has some critiques of kind of the other side. I don't know if it explicitly you could describe like what it's doing as capitalist, but you could. I mean, you could certainly map onto the opposing side
Oh,
in
some
Animal
people
Farm.
defend capitalism wrong. Like they'll even
Sure,
go to the
yeah.
point of defending crony capitalism. Which
Yeah,
is
exactly.
so.
Well,
But
again, it's kind of what I was talking about earlier. It's like you get into this false dialectic where you feel like, well,
yeah,
if I'm against this, I have to be completely pro this. It's like, no,
right,
you can. Again, it's like capitalism can absolutely, be corrupted and has been corrupted in numerous ways. Uh, it's like that's very easy to do. Any good look, if Christianity can be corrupted, any good thing can be corrupted.
right,
So like that to me it's like that is how I would describe evil. If someone said what is evil, it's like I don't see good and evil as I'm not a dualist. I don't see them as equal opposites. I don't think evil has ontology. I think evil is a corruption of good. I think if you look at something that you would describe as evil, I think you can work your way backwards and find the good that it came from, and maybe then work out how it got corrupted into something evil. Uh, that's kind of why we have that saying, nobody does evil for the sake of it, is because it springs forth from a desire that's actually good. It's just the means by which they want to achieve the good are completely wrong. That's generally how evil is done. But anyway, that's a whole different like
Yeah,
theological
yeah,
topic. Granted, it's a
yeah.
very interesting topic. It's one that I ponder often. But yeah, as far as this goes, it kind of seems like they're taking the opposite tact, where I guess the animals will be like that's kind of the weird thing. It's like, are the animals going to be more capitalist then? Because part of what happens with the animals in Animal Farm is they adopt a very communist social structure, and then it all goes, it all goes to crap and it's ruined. So I guess they're going the opposite way, where the animals are going to be more capitalistic, I suppose, which is bizarre. I wonder if there's even going to be a critique of like, it's like, okay, well, what's the other side going to be? Is the farmer going to actually be more communist, and they're going to have maybe some critiques for it? I'm granted, the first person I heard call this movie like communist propaganda was Tim Pool. I think Tim Pool's, I don't fully trust his opinions on stuff. I don't know how media savvy he is. Having the filmmaker with this, and I'm like, that's a filmmaker willing to call it that. It's like, yeah, that's a little bit more alarming. So yeah, it'll be a movie I probably watch to see, how they change things. But yeah, everything I'm hearing sounds like they're going completely the wrong way. The trailer looked completely off too. Like I had not read the story before I saw the trailer. Then I read it and I was like, yeah, that trailer looks completely off.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, that's, but like you said, it's really sad that, that's coming out of Angel Studios. Freaking Mormons. Anyway, so now we got to get into a quick little bit about what happened here with
Eric didn't swallow very well.
the Fang's former lover. And I do see the comedy in that. The big deal wasn't made by the anybody on the left that he was dating a spy.
Yeah, he obviously was in bed with old Fang at one point, and now he got caught sleeping. Now, granted, I will say this: anybody following this story, if you are more on the conservative side, measure your celebration, because you have to understand that, for one thing, his downfall is not being orchestrated by the right. The left is they're the ones kicking him out.
Right.
And from what I've read about this, like I saw somebody, like, when I first saw this break, I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then you kind of start going through some comments to see if anybody has an insight on this that might be like a train of thought worth following. And one that I found, and that I tend to agree with, is that Eric Swalwell was getting in the way of another Democrat winning, that he was kind of dividing the vote, and that this could lead to a Republican taking the seat. And that's why they're like, okay, you're kind of betraying the base here. So you're
it's about your time to
you're
step
reaching
aside.
you're reaching for power that we have not told you can have. So now you're out. And I'm like, I tend to agree that's what's happening here. That's so, and again, it's like the primary sign that should tip you off is the fact that this was orchestrated by the left. They're the ones who kind of put this out there and said, okay, we need to get rid of this guy. This wasn't orchestrated by the right. The right celebrate, and we find this funny. And look, he's a piece of garbage. I'm not sad to see him go, but understand that he's really the only person losing here. The left is not losing a thing.
Right.
They're not losing squat with him being gone. He's gone. So if whatever you're celebrating in relation to this, just know that all you can really celebrate rationally is that he's out of the way. But the left he's just swapped out for another leftist.
Right. They will have another, mouthpiece come right
and
out there.
It'll probably be somebody even worse. It'll probably be somebody even worse.
It will be somebody who's who did and said the same things as he did and tried to run him down.
It's more humorous than it is it's not a political victory. It's just funny.
Yeah. And Bush. Yeah. Really agree on that. Like the thing is like he did go through the same little timeline that they always go through, basically like, hey, yo, like there's some false allegations, about me going around, and I'm gonna fight them. And all that. We saw this recently with, Tim Walls, where there's some false allegations going around, and I'm gonna spend, and then later it's like, hey, I'm not gonna run for reelection. I'm gonna spend my time trying to find more fraud, and to fight fraud, but I'm not gonna run for reelection. And this dude, of course, as we go and we scroll on, it goes from step 1 to step 2, and then finally to step 3, which is I am resigning. He is leaving his seat. So that is the pressure, and yeah, I think that they definitely held onto the evidence, and it's all fun and games, and it's like, well, you can keep on doing that, but just let like
Well,
you
this is
are our
kind of
tool.
well, this is if you read a lot, I mean, and I know for some people this will sound like tinfoil hat stuff, but I do think it's the kind
It's
of thing that you
good.
should investigate it. Some of the stuff, there's a lot of truth to it. And I think that if you look into a lot of, and this part isn't actually conspiratorial, this stuff is true.
Probably
It'll
was
just sound
considered conspiratorial at
conspiratorial.
one time.
Yeah. Well, and to some people probably still will, but like when you like there are a lot of various like secret organizations and cults out there, and some of their rituals do in fact involve like people confessing stuff, and the gathering of evidence, so that the society that you're joining, it's like you're part of the price of your membership is they own you, and
Mhm.
they own you via blackmail, basically. That's why it's what a lot of people theorize about like the whole you know Epstein thing, is
Mhm.
that uh a lot of the reason why you're not seeing a whole lot done about that is because there's a ton of blackmail involved. And I'm like, that's almost certainly truthful.
Yeah, there
Uh,
are white men in there too.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like there's plenty of people of all sorts in there. It's like, but it's like blackmail is what a lot of politics are built on. And if you join, it's like if you're part of certain groups and everything like that, it's like they're gonna have stuff on you. And the moment you overstep your usefulness or overstep the bounds of what they've allowed, then out comes the blackmail. And here's the thing: it seems like in his case, this was more like, because I think the footage that came out that is getting him ousted is fairly recent, to my understanding. So it seems like more this wasn't necessarily blackmail in the sense of something in his past. This more looks like something that like I kind of feel like they use blackmail from your past more to keep you in line. Like say like they'll release it to say, okay, we're not telling you to resign. We're telling you, hey, back off. Stop reaching for things that aren't yours.
Right.
But with him, apparently he overstepped so much that they were like, okay, we're going to basically honeypot you
Hmm.
and get you the heck out.
Right. We will
Now
allow a
that's and by
judge.
the way, this is not to say that the women who are accusing him don't have legit accusations to have. I'm sure there's probably a good amount of truth to that. I'm not saying like everybody who's
Hmm.
involved is in on something, but
We've seen the
uh,
footage of the prostitution. We have not seen footage of him or anybody.
exactly.
And at the same time, I will
I think
say,
one is meant to enhance the validity of the other.
at the same time, we can't be,
Like
I'll
I
say
think
we.
like the likely legit accusations are the things that have been sat on. Like that's the
Hmm.
thing they've been sitting on, saying, okay, if you screw up, this is what's going to come out, and then we're going to do something else to enhance it because
Yeah.
we know your proclivities, dude.
Well, it's like super hypocritical because some people will be like, well, he's obviously a bad person, and like he definitely did that, and we don't have proof, and the same thing can be said for things settled out of court by politicians that people really like and all that, or by figures out in the in the public, celebrities and stuff like that, who basically said, no, no, we're just going to settle this, we're just going to pay, and pay, and like where you might have misconstrued what was happening here, but I'm just going to pay to get rid of this or whatever, or basically saying believe all women. We've seen how that goes, but at the same time, I think that they were basically like, we're going to allow, we're going to tell their lawyer for all their cases, that yes, it is a go. You can go ahead and do your thing, and you will not be. We will protect you. Yeah. Now they have a hidden protection, from a side of the government that they wouldn't have had before, because as we know, if you go after fraud or anything in the government, you are you're treading, and there's some, really sneaky shit that they'll do to you, no matter who's in office. So, um, like I said, I'm not trying to put down, what the, the supposed and potential victims, are, doing and saying and all that. It's just people on the right can't instantly be like, yeah, he's definitely guilty. He might look
Yeah,
guilty. I mean,
they may not be in on it, but never.
mhm.
But don't get it mixed up. They're probably tools in some way, willingly or unwillingly.
But the person who screamed all the time, basically about Trump and anybody else that he didn't like, and for all these different programs saying, we need to believe all women, we need to do this, we need to do that. Like these people should be protected, because their women are getting, essayed and blah 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 and all that. He has had, all these quotes that are coming back to bite him now because he is, exactly accused of every bit of that, and we know that he's not, that he's not treating his wife right. We know, and they might have some weird relationship. I don't know. They're Democrats. They have they have their thing. Usually godless people. I don't care.
Maybe running
But
each other over the golf cart's a thing they do. I
yeah,
don't
it's like
know.
golly.
Lay down,
So
lay down, get the golf cart.
one day he's going to be speaking at a men's group, like about how he did X, Y, and Z to to this and that woman and all. And he's like, I just want to let y'all know that even I did human trafficking at one time, and it's like, so we all make mistakes, let's make this about me, I um yeah. Anyways, as you see, as the timeline goes, because every day, every like few hours, this was getting updated on what all was going on. So you see the evolution of Swalwell's bullshit.
I always do
Another
love like the statements that come out days before the resignation. Like, oh, these are completely false. And I was like, if they were false, you wouldn't have resigned. Let's be real. We've seen considerably worse allegations out there about people who didn't resign.
yeah. So I do want to quickly touch on we got Nikita Beer here from who works at X, big guy on X. So what is his position here? Let's see, head of product of X. Okay, at
Okay.
X. Anyway, so this has kind of upset a few accounts, but basically there's a lot of accounts starting out with who aren't, who of course are not putting out quality or original content. They're basically like putting a question mark and then putting a video right underneath it that they got from somebody else, who got it from somebody else, who got it from somebody else.
Mm.
And, you're getting so many community notes where people are like, yeah, this came from an Instagram account called at, so and so. Like, and you guys are just
Yeah, like
basically.
anytime, and to add a point of clarification, point of
Mhm.
privilege, no, but I know there's that one guy, George something, who's he's an artist and everything, and people will often like retweet his stuff, and he's kind of dogmatic about saying, hey, yeah, and he'll be like, hey, you could at least give me a credit here, and I know some
Mhm.
people are like, well, gosh, that's you have to be that petty and everything. Okay, I'm like, well, hang on, if his stuff is circulating and he's not credited for it, that's money lost for him,
Yeah,
because he is a verified account and his stuff goes super viral. It's like this guy's got
it's
hundreds of
not
thousands of
AI.
followers, so that's money out of his pocket.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, assuming this is the first time kind of hearing about this, really. Although does this play into the whole thing with that Dom Lucre dude?
Yes, this
Okay?
is what
I
led
know
to
he's
his
like he's
breakdown.
flipping out over, I guess, this kind of stuff, which
Yes.
I don't particularly like his account, so I find it. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
good. If he's
I
he
followed
annoys
him
the
at
crap
one
out of
time
me.
and I unfollowed him like about a year ago because I was like,
Well, yeah, because he
dude,
used to do like these interesting kind of like deep dives and stuff. And I was like, okay, this stuff's actually kind of interesting. But
yeah,
now it's just he reposts other people's stuff, and he like apparently he charges people to retweet stuff and everything. And I'm
yes,
like, I'm like, gosh, this guy's kind of a leech. Uh,
yes,
so yeah, I stopped paying attention to him a long time ago, but so on its surface at the very least, this seems like a good idea. It's like I always wonder about like certain entailments to new software and new tools and everything. It's like, okay, what's in
hmm
there that you're not telling us about, or what are some of the things maybe we're not thinking about that could be a problem? Uh but on its surface, it's like, okay, if they're trying to identify like the original creators of content, that's a good thing. Like that
Mhm.
that could be good. It's like, it's obviously the person who creates the thing or says the thing that goes viral. It's like, yeah, they should get the credit and they should get the booty.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, there was also a reply to somebody else's account that bold lib her account because dude was basically just taking her stuff, and even when she was like, hey, could you at least like put me down, because you can in your whenever you're making a video in the studio mode or reposting a video, you can attribute it where it came from. And it doesn't even have to be a repost. It can be attributed down there in the bottom. You'll see it. It'll have somebody's name underneath here that you can click on, and it'll go back to the original poster of the video. But they tried to fix that by saying that basically that repost will also get everybody some money here. But um, you have we have more about this later, and all that saved in the bookmarks here. But he was replying directly to her at one point, this Nikita, and then of course Dom started basically screenshotting that and posting like just pissed off about it, like he goes, this is coming from an account that hates me, and this is unfair that this person who's the head of product at X and all that is siding with a single person against me, and they're all coming after me, kind of thing. And nobody likes that. Also, I think later we'll see anybody using the breaking at the beginning of their paragraphs, or at the beginning of their post, will have their monetization for that post, or I don't know if it's reached, but maybe monetization is mentioned down to only 30% of what you would get, because using
It's
breaking
highly manipulative.
highly manipulative, yes, and to the point where we're having to constantly put notes and notes and notes and notes down there saying like this happened 4 years ago, and
Well, it's
this
because
is
it's one of those terms that even if by the time you've read whatever it is they're
Mhm.
saying,
Yeah,
you realize it's a load of crap, you've engaged with it. And so
yeah.
they've done so the word has done its job.
So, and that takes away from, no matter what, this company does not want their newsworthiness, which is, a lot of people come here, whether you like it or not, a lot of people come here for their news. So if you're making it to the point where the word breaking, which is supposed to be, newsworthy, used by news and all that, you make it meaningless. Breaking, here's a cat, I've seen stuff, like that it just makes no sense. It shouldn't be used, and those people are going to be losing out for it. So that's a positive thing, I feel like, for X here. So definitely prefer that kind of action being taken. And whether you like them or not, George, the Papadopoulos and all that. He had Miles Chung, whatever, basically Asian quartering or whatever. I don't know, that ugly ass dude.
Yeah, Ian Miles Chung.
Yeah, Ian Miles Chung. Yeah, he
Ian Miles Chungus.
Chungus. He is one of the filthiest human beings in the world, and obviously not American. Obviously, should not
Literally, like nobody likes him.
Nobody likes him. And so he stole from George, and George, just made a point, like, and a few other people called it out, a few other, people who are obviously in the circles, pointed out, hey, like, you just stole from dude. And so another lady in the circle, did the same thing and all that, and she apologized eventually after everybody kind of ran her down about it. But and it's obvious, whose artwork it was. But she was like, I stole it from Ian Miles Chung. So me and Miles Chung, posted it, and he says, I stole it and I'll do it again. He like straight up said, I stole it and I'll do it again. And then he changed it with AI and then reposted it and got like a 1 million views out of that. And he said, look, I just changed this with AI and I'm getting more money out of it than you'll ever get. Like, it was like the most nefarious, dark shit I've seen on Twitter, as far as how skeezy somebody could openly be about stealing. Like, you're like, that should have been the sign that everybody should have, like, when it comes to
if that didn't backfire horrific. It's like I don't follow the guy, so I have no idea what the fallout from that is
Yeah.
beyond that. But it's like, gosh, if that didn't completely backfire to where he lost a ton of followers, then I'm like, that would be just sad because that's the like you said, that's the kind of thing that that's the kind of thing that's like if you see that and
That's
you
evil.
even for a minute think about it, you're like, okay, this guy's a piece of garbage.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that is freaking evil to me. All right, so I'll move on from that. Something just not really want to get into it, but I did just want to make a quick note that there's some protests going on over in Ireland over fuel prices and oil because so they're part of the EU over there where they are basically overcharged if you want to use electricity, anything to keep yourself hot or cold. That's why there's so many Brits out there who are like freaking amazed that we have air conditioning everywhere over here, and they're like, "You guys are spoiled, you need air conditioning for everything," and blah 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 blah, and all that. It's like, yeah, but you don't probably realize. I mean, you're the death rate, over in Britain from people being, actually just either getting too cold or overheating during the summer. Like, but they're so used to being beaten down by prices. Yeah, Waylon, definitely. But they're so used to being beaten down by the prices of using an ounce of energy. Like my Finnish friend, they have 8 outlets for an entire house, and and they're like just so happy to have at least one room constantly lit and a computer running, and like they really try like they'll talk to their mom and be like is it all right if I use this right now and all that, because that price really adds up on using electricity over there. Way different, way different than over here. Like over here we can count our kilowatt hours and just kind of look at it and be like, okay, need to calm it down. I maybe shouldn't run 4 PCs in my house at one time, while I'm trying to collect crypto. Over there they couldn't even imagine collecting crypto and using the electricity that your tower uses. So it's just the shit's hitting the fan. I think Ireland is such a pussy country at this point. And I know that I have some Irish friends on Twitter and this and that and YouTube, and I am so sorry that you've let your country go to shit. I have so, I mean, yeah, this is coming from America, but my word, I used to have so much pride about Ireland and Irish roots, and I'm just so sad for all of them. I'm not really trying to blame them because they're part of a bigger group that pushes like Germany and all that pushes enforced immigration on you and just keeps on agreeing to all these stupid laws and rules and to make you feel bad about expressing yourself or using a freaking piece of coal. Mr. Ebenezer.
Germany, if you dare to criticize a certain religion, you could go to prison for 3 years. That was the story I saw yesterday.
Again, again. It seems to keep on repeating itself, and that is so freaking sad.
Like, just to put this into context,
Mhm.
I mean, and this is just on one front. There's numerous fronts you could talk about these situations, because it's disastrous over there right now. But anybody acting like there isn't a mass infiltration of Islam into these countries. There's about 500,000 Muslims in Europe back in, I think it was 2000 or maybe around 2000, like somewhere between 2000 and 2005. There's over 50 million now. That's in less than 20 years. So
they are 6% of the population of London.
Anytime I hear Piers Morgan say stuff like, "Oh, we're not being overrun," I'm like, you're completely full of it, or you're just that stupid.
Yeah.
It's like the increase in their population, it's like that's absolutely insane that it's grown that much in that short a time. It's like that is great replacement. That's the whole great replacement theory that everyone says a conspiracy. It's like that's a great example of it right there. It's like, quit acting like this is a conspiracy theory. This is precisely what it is. And look, there are probably more angles to why it happens than the ones we think of. But acting like it's not happening is just a load of garbage. And
Well, it's
anytime I
true
see
because
people
it's
pushing
true.
that crap, anybody pushing that crap to happen in the
Mhm.
United States, I'm just like, you need to have your neck wrung. You're a freaking retard.
On
It's like,
the
what is wrong with you?
on the edge of sounding racist because I'm racist, that the video that I had unfortunately unbookmarked before we got on here was a shopping mall in Texas, 1992, and it's 9 minutes of footage of I think the Houston Mall. My wife saw it and she goes, "Oh, that's the Houston Mall," because one time she lived there. And so, anyway, it's 9 minutes of that footage, and it's just nothing but nothing but footage and the sound of the mall. There's no background reminiscent, 80s synth music or anything like that. There's nothing like that in the background. It's just life in the mall, and what you see is a real look at what our percentages, especially in that part of the U.S. and all that, was at one time was totally represented by what you saw there in that mall. And I will say the only dark people that you see in the video are extremely well dressed. There's nobody sagging. There's nobody huddled in weird groups and all that, like looking like they're targeting, or like we're having to walk around in our friend group. There's a lot of families all together. There's old men just sitting on benches just staring, just enjoying life. And the mall is so clean. The mall is very pretty. Has open areas in it where you have trees growing, where they planted trees. There was no graffiti. And we've lost shopping malls not because we've lost shopping malls here, not because they just lost popularity. They lost popularity for a reason, and that reason is these places are filled with hooligans, and nobody is expected to live up to any type of standard. And the same thing is being sent. It has been sent over here for years. We just have more area to kind of spread them around. Ireland is not that big. It can't take all that. Especially the mostly the parts where people actually get to live. Kind of like in a way, think of like Australia, where it's like most of the people live in a certain area of Australia. Or same thing with Canada. Most of the people all live near that southern border. Pretty close. In Canada. They just kind of hang around that rim, and that's where all these people are being sent to. And it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. So sorry, Ireland. It sucks, but I really, really hope that they can pull out of this.
You need to get off the booze for a couple of
Mhm.
months and do some
Don't dull the
squats.
pain. Yeah.
Yeah, need that. Gotta bring that IRA spirit back.
Yeah, that's why
Uh,
I saw Conor McGregor. I think I have a video of him saved where he's just basically
by the way, one subject you were talking about earlier,
Mhm.
there's another woman that came out accusing Eric Swalwell. Another one has.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
It's just happened. It's like another one.
who let the dogs out? Well, yeah. Random. Sorry, I read this earlier. A priest says that he got Jeffrey Dahmer to believe in God before he died. As if as if this would get Dahmer into heaven. The priest said no, but it was fun to make him think so.
Wow.
Classic. All right. So we got Boosh McFroggins here. Potentially gonna be sorry, ever since I saw this, like it just looks like looks like Boosh if he had an extra $1 million. Looks like Boosh if his organs didn't explode every other day. Bless you, Boosh. I'm glad. Boosh if he made great decisions. I'm kidding. All right. Sorry. Let me catch up on chat really quick here. Waylon says it happens because it is inherent to the liberal ideology. The blank slate is because of this. Sorry, that's not a good Waylon voice. I don't know what Waylon. I haven't seen him on streams yet, so that's my bad. He might sound like extremely redneck. I don't know.
Who on stream?
Waylon.
Oh well, yeah. Well, he was on Plot Strikes Back last.
I know. I totally missed that. So, That's my bad. And he might be like, not to mention big business wanting cheap labor. All right.
He
And
doesn't sound. I'll be honest. You sound far more redneck than he does.
oh, I bet. I bet, dude. I bet.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, I definitely know that my Tennessee nasal shit is coming through every day. One of my friends said, dude, you do so good. You talk so good on your streams and all that. I'm like, do you know how many people don't want to hear themselves back on stream ever? You know, like it's
Oh
not,
no, never,
nah.
never.
Like that's why like I was like getting Gore to do some of my videos for this voiceover part is because I was like you know like I really don't want to even try to do that, so
And I'm just sitting here thinking, well, why do y'all do it? But I'm not going to watch it then. Because then I have to hear my voice.
and then I have to hear my voice like a dumbass.
It's terrible.
But you got to see the edit. You got to see the edit. But unfortunately, I use those shorts. But see, my cousin and two of her girlfriends had a Hispanic man follow them all around Willowbrook. They reported it and nothing happened. They haven't been back. Yeah, yeah. It's well, you know, getting followed and stuff like that. You know, we see every day on X where it's another straight video of somebody who just got followed and yeah, you're not allowed to judge. You know, you're not allowed to, you know, you're not even allowed to discern good from bad, from potential danger, or you know, like you know, one male following, you know, a couple of females. You know, like no, you're not allowed to do that. But you end up finding those people, you know, knocked down and beaten by a hammer to death in front of them. You know?
Anymore, it's like you kind of almost have to carry.
You have to.
Of course, you know, like the problem with me, it's like not Whitey knows about this, but like I have to. It's like when I first it's like when I bought my firearm last year. You know, one of the things I want to do is like I wanted to take it with me in my car, and I can in some respects. I can't do that if I go to work though, and that really sucks because the last the last year, the security around my workplace is not doing their job, so we have had like numerous break-ins in our parking lot, including one about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I'm like, well, if I bring my gun with me, there's a good chance it gets stolen.
Right.
So that really sucks.
That does suck, and you know, and every state has slightly different laws about you know open carry, and how you keep it in your vehicle. I've seen one state where you have to keep basically you know, this is you know to kind of joke it down, but they want you to have the thing dismantled into different parts and different locations in the car, and they're still going to teach you like a piece of shit. Yeah,
that's
like
insane.
thank you for totally getting rid of, you know, it needs to be locked in inside of a case and do this and do that. You know, it's like this is freaking insane. But let's see. Do not look that old, you jagwagon.
That's why I'm like, by the way, it's like that's why I'm like anyone who, you know, gripes about like open carry, and I'm like, are you kidding? Number one, I would think that open carry is beneficial to all parties because I'm like, okay, if you see somebody walking around with a gun, you know, don't mess with them. It's like, all right, I don't want to mess with them. And if I'm open carrying, it's like, hey, we kind of have a mutual understanding. We don't want to mess with one another.
Right. It keeps honest people honest.
But it's like if some dude who has nefarious intent is walk around and see somebody open carrying, guess what? They're probably not going to go mess with that person, male or female. Like they might now. Granted, if you're a female, look, the sad reality is that there's still a chance that somebody's going to take their chances with you, even if they saw that you were armed. But it will definitely lessen the odds at the very least.
But we know criminals take their chances with female officers because they know, you know, they know the basic.
Yeah, it's like guns are not like they're often called the great equalizer. It's like it's a bit of a misnomer because it's like they don't really equalize; they just get you closer to it.
Yeah, training really helps, and you know,
training can get you a little closer with it. But yeah, you gotta, you know, if you're a lady, having a gun's not going to be enough. You've got to do some training, and you might even need to do some physical training as far as like, you know, your draw speed and even just your ability to shake free if somebody grabs you to where you can even get to your gun. Now again, having one I actually think open carry would very much benefit women because at the very least it is like if some dude has nefarious intent, it's like, okay, he would be considerably less likely to mess with a woman who's got a gun. It's like, hey, if she, you know, so I'll say this, and I don't know if there's any statistical reality to this, but a woman who part of me almost thinks that a woman could be more quickly convinced to shoot than a man could, because men are less emotionally driven. So we tried, like, there's a part of us that understands, like, gosh, if we have to elevate to shooting somebody, that's the extreme position. Now we also have to be more willing to do it. It's like we might recognize the situation being dire uh faster, but if a woman, you could argue maybe would just elevate immediately, and I'm like, well, if somebody's gonna mess with her in such a way, I don't think that's necessarily all that bad.
Right. My thing is like Tennessee, they make it like it still require you to have like a concealed carry, but open carry is legal here now. Without any type of licensing and stuff like that. And I think concealed carry is like if you're the only person around that's open carrying, it can kind of make you the first person that they try to take out. But so that's why I feel like we should have the right to conceal carry without a constant berating by police. And like trust me, if you hand them your concealed carry and all that, the whole situation just takes on a different tone, as we've seen from video and all that. And I do try to support like our local police and stuff like that, but they definitely do the whole police thing, and that's pretty sad. It makes me feel awkward about trying to carry. But sorry, anyway, that's a side tangent. I'm just
Yeah, it's like we have had this image up for about 10 minutes and not
Mhm.
even
All right,
other
so
than compared Carl to Bush.
yeah, Bush McFroggins over here is saying that he'd, I mean, come on, John Marston. Oh, you know to play that character. So, what's your thoughts on casting here?
So there's another one. I don't know if you saw this, but the other one was Jeffrey Dean Morgan has talked about wanting to play Arthur Morgan.
Yeah.
He's given his cousin in video games.
Mhm.
20 years ago, I would have been more on board for this. The reality is, though, these two guys are way too old. I'm sorry. Because, okay, if you were to adapt, I mean, obviously, if you're going to bring Arthur Morgan into this, you're going to adapt Red Dead 2 before 1, which, timeline wise, of course you would. That makes sense. John Marston is 26
Yeah.
in Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
And Arthur Morgan, I know he comes off like an old soul, but he's 36 years old. Okay. He's young. He's like several years young. He's 7 years younger than me.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, Carl Urban, looks good for his age, but he's 52, and
Yeah.
Jeffrey D. Morgan is 59. I'm gonna sneeze. Hang on.
Yeah. Get it, Cord.
It
Yeah, the
didn't
lines
happen.
on the lines
Now,
on
see,
it.
now
Yeah,
I'm frustrated. It didn't happen. No.
The birding. The birding. Okay.
It's like I got sneeze blocked.
The cusp.
But and here's the thing, it's like I could map their faces onto these two characters. I think, like, as far as appearances go, I understand why some people might be like, "Oh yeah, it's a great idea." I'm like, guys, they're too old. I don't like the idea personally. I mean, for one thing, I'm kind of sick and tired of the first thought everyone has for casting is who looks the most like the person.
Mhm.
I'm like, that's a stupid way. It's like that. I'm not saying it deserves no consideration. Obviously, it should have some consideration. You do want someone like, especially if you're portraying a real life figure, it's like, yeah, you would prefer to have somebody who closely resembles the person you're depicting, I suppose.
I want Gary
Although-
Oldman to play everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Exactly. Now, somebody did bring up the idea of like Jeffrey Dean Morgan playing Dutch. I'd be like, okay, I would actually. That's one I would listen to. I don't think that's the worst idea.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if he wants to play
like
bad guys.
Carl Urban playing John Marston, I'm like, no. Like I like that's actually the one I'm even more against, is because
He's supposed to
Marston.
be young. Yeah.
Well, it's not even just that he is young; it's that he comes off as youthful and naive in many respects. Like
Yeah.
whether you're talking Red Dead 1 or 2,
Mhm.
because by Red Dead 1, I guess he's probably in his mid to late 30s. Because obviously Jack has gotten a good amount older. I think he's like 17 by now. So I think Red Dead 1 is probably like 10 years after this or so, or some years later, obviously. But Yeah, he comes off as young and kind of naive in spots he doesn't quite understand how the world that's coming works. Uh, Red Dead 2, he's especially youthful in the way he behaves, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I have a hard time believing Carl can achieve that. He's in his 50s, and he comes off like a guy in his 50s. If John were in his
They'd have to
40s,
change the
maybe.
plot. They'd
Yeah,
have to change.
I'll be honest, I don't really want much of a plot change with this. Usually when you're adapting from a source, uh, if you're trying to actually adapt the story, it's like, look, sometimes I'm okay with changes because like a lot of video game stories get kind of wonky, but Red Dead 2 especially, assuming that's the starting point, it's like that's a pretty strong story. Obviously there's some stuff you'd keep out probably as far as like, the more goofy supernatural elements that Rockstar peppers into their games, which I'm totally fine with, by the way. But if you're trying to turn this into an actual adaptation that is a serious Western, you would leave a lot of that stuff out. Not necessarily all of it, because yes, all Westerns tend to have a spiritual component to them that's very interesting. So you could incorporate some of that. Uh, but like if I were casting Carl Urban in any role in like the Red Dead franchise, I would be more likely to put him in something else. Maybe make him like the man in black, the person in black who, tells John, I know you, basically playing, a version of, a lot of people interpret him as death, some interpret him as God, some interpret him as the devil. It's like there's a lot of interesting discussion about the man in black character from the first Red Dead. Like I might be willing to listen to casting him there. I would even listen to casting Carl, Carl as Dutch even, because obviously we know, like I think Jeffrey D. Morgan probably looks a little closer to it, but I think Carl could depict his emotional volatility well,
Yeah.
so that would be interesting. But I think casting him as John would be a huge mistake. I don't think he fits that part well at all, to be honest. I know that some people are looking at this photo side by side and thinks that there's a physical resemblance, but I'm like, I'm sorry, that's kind of where it begins and ends for me.
Yeah.
If he were in the role and it had good writers and had a good director, yes, I would watch it still because I love Red Dead. But I would be like, I think you can do better. I think, and frankly, I kind of feel like Hollywood is becoming a lot like professional wrestling, where they just can't let go of the past. And part of this because we don't have a lot of good young stars that, or they're just, they're in such dire straits financially where nobody actually wants to see the movie. So it's like they're trying to get as much star power into something as possible because they're like, okay, who can we get that's familiar?
Yeah.
So it's like, why don't you start propping up some actual young actors who know what they're doing? It's like, I know they're not household names yet, but it's like, I'm sure you can find some who actually know what they're doing. But granted, you have to write the material to make them good also. So that's kind of the pickle you're in there. But yeah, I think with video game movies, especially, there's this idea that maybe it's not enough to have the video game name. You need to put a star in it also. Let's attach some stars to it. Let's put Jack Black and Jason Momoa in it, or, let's cast Chris Pratt to voice Mario because that works, or let's have Donald Glover voice Yoshi, even though there's no way of telling that. It's literally like Donald. Like if you watch Mario Galaxy, there is no indication whatsoever that Yoshi is voiced by Donald Glover. It's literally they hired him because people would recognize his name.
That's so
They could have
ridiculous.
literally done Yoshi as whoever voiced Yoshi in the games, and it would have been perfectly fine. There's no indication that's Donald Glover whatsoever. It's just, but people will know the name, and so that looks good when you're advertising it, right? It's so retarded. Like that's kind of part of what makes me appreciate Sonic to an extent. Granted, they have Jim Carrey attached. I understand that, but he's kind of it as far as like big star names and everything. Sonic's kind of like the Sonic movies aren't great movies necessarily, but I appreciate what they're doing because they're taking that character and they're actually trying to write a movie with themes and story and, do an okay job with it at the very least. Like those movies are fun. They're actually kind of fun. And they actually paid attention when fans threw a little bit of crap their way over the way he looked initially. It's like, so it seems like they're actually caring. Like it's actually funny. The people making the Sonic movies almost seem to care more about Sonic than Sega did after like Sonic Knuckles.
True, very true. And yeah, trusting a studio nowadays with that, and the fact that unless everything's totally 100% bankable, guarantee gonna get 500 to a billion.
I
That
appreciate that there's some actors that actually do push for,
yeah,
like I
I'm
appreciate
not
that Carl
faulting
and Jeffrey
him.
D. Morgan. I appreciate that they like this project and like the idea of getting involved with it, but and I wouldn't even necessarily be averse to them being in the film in some role or other, but I'm like, in those two roles, no, no. I don't think they work in those roles.
All right, sorry. I think you had posted this. I don't think it will. Yeah. Good old
That's
Nintendo joke
that's
there.
actually that's a really good one. That's
Yeah,
actually really
yeah.
good.
Had to. All right, and I think that
Let's get our
might.
let's get the channel taken down real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah,
Talk about
yeah,
no.
yeah. The goitering, the goonering. I've
No!
not.
Dang it, that's not a bad idea if I
I
covered it.
know.
The goitering.
The goitering.
Oh gosh.
Let's see. Let me read
I mean,
this
the
from
good
it.
news for us is I only have a loose recognition of all that's going on with this situation.
For the
'Cause
best.
I don't freaking care.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I don't follow this guy.
Yeah.
I have found him to be like, even I guess as he's quote unquote leaned more to our side of the political aisle, I have always found him just painfully milquetoast and
Yeah.
just uninteresting. I've
He.
watched a few of his videos before, and after about 4 or 5 of them, you're just like, he's not really saying anything substantive.
Yeah.
So what's the draw here? Like there's some people when you see their subscriber count, you're just like, why?
So
What does he add?
the
I find him incredibly boring, but he has power, so I understand. It's like, I'm not saying it's unimportant. Of course it is,
Mhm.
because like this is affecting other channels, and it's like I understand there is something to be drawn from the conversation, but creator drama to me is one of the least interesting things out there, other than to joke about. It's like joking about it, totally cool with that.
Yeah.
I certainly like joking about just about anything that I can find humor in, but
Well, any
the
type of
story itself, I
drama.
just don't. Yeah, the story itself, I just don't freaking care.
Yeah.
It's like I'll approach people on their various takes.
Mhm.
I feel like whenever I hear a take of his, it's like I don't feel like I have a beat on what you think. I feel like you're just repeating something.
Mhm. So I'll say this, he definitely got big because he was in there early, and it's better to be
I
early
thought it was.
than.
Oh, really? Because I thought it was because he ate.
Giggity.
because fat. Sorry.
How'd that get in there?
All right, that's so good, so good, so
He
good.
said about the cake.
The so yeah, he was in there early, and early is better than good. Like look at Destiny. He was in on the game back on
The
Twitch
quartering
before.
is when he cuts his pizza into 4 slices.
Yeah, and then slaps them together. He's like, he probably rolls them up. Yeah, and he's like, look what I can turn this pizza into. So he's just a dude.
I do
just
find.
a
I will
dude.
say this. I do find the partnership between him and Melanie Mack amusing, on a content level.
Mhm.
Now, granted, her opinions are a little bit more easy to discern, obviously, but as far as like the quality of their content, I'm like, yeah, it's right in line with each other.
Yeah.
Because I like, when you first kind of get into the YouTube sphere, you say, oh, okay, there's this good looking Christian chick who, she'll say the gamer words, and that's funny. So you follow that for a little while, and then
And
you realize, oh, that's kind of
oh,
all there is.
that's all there
It's kind
is.
of that's literally all all there is. And then as you kind of,
I'm
like,
edgy.
yeah, and as you kind of grow in your faith, and you're seeing this person is kind of stagnant or going backwards at times,
Mhm.
you're like, a lot of the things that you find interesting at first, like, that's not so interesting anymore. And there's part of me, like, I know she got married recently, and I'm like, that's great, good for her. She got married, she found a guy. That's wonderful. But there's also a part of me that's just kind of smirks. That's like, a lot of those simps are gonna walk away now.
Yeah.
Because if you've ever followed Melanie Mack on Twitter, especially about, I guess I first got onto Twitter back around 2020. What was it? 2022, I think it was.
Yeah.
Right when you get into our comment section, if you're trying to engage in any way, shape, or form, all you see just about is just simp everywhere, like to a degree that's just like I remember, like I didn't have a good beat on what the word simp even meant when I first got onto Twitter,
But
and
she
then
helped.
I saw like her chat, and I was like, oh, this is what simps are, because of like, guys, I know she's cute, but doesn't change that some of the stuff she says is kind of retarded, uh, or not well thought out, whether it's from a political perspective or a spiritual perspective or whatever perspective. And I'm like, you can disagree with her to some degree, but it's just constant affirmation. Oh, you're so funny. Oh, you're so great. I'm like, it's not that funny. She just says the same word over and over again. It's not really that funny. Uh, it's like she's almost made it uncool to say the word, because it's like it's not as fun to say the word if you just repeat it over and over and over again. It's like, yeah, it's like context matters, and how you use it matters.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like their pairing, I'm like, yeah, that makes total sense on a content level, because I don't find either of them all that interesting.
So when I
The
was
creator drama attached, I'm just like, whatever.
when I was getting into coming back to YouTube, because I had, after I had that the homesteading account closed down, I was like, you know what, I'm done, for a little while. And then I came back to YouTube, and between him and Geeks and Gamers, that's how I kind of like, oh, you know what, it would be kind of cool to share, some of my thoughts about film and stuff like that. There's pop culture is kind of interesting in that way and all that. So I went through like an amazing amount of his videos back in the day, but it got to the point where I was like, the same as you, is like, so he's going to come in, he's going to do his introductions, and then the introduction to the introduction, and then he's going to.
What's going on, everybody?
What's
Jeremy's
recording? I'm going to eat the fucking then and then he talks about the article. He'll make some reference. He'll give a tiny hint of an opinion about it, and then go back to the article. One more kind of closing opinion, and then it's the closeout of the video. And so he found a good formula that works for him. Doesn't exactly mean it's like great, but it's kind of like what we were talking about movies. Like, you can get a whole lot of money out of this piece of shit movie, and it doesn't make it really a good movie, and it doesn't make him a good content creator. But he had that so down, and he was one of the few voices that were out there constantly doing it, and at least pointing out these things that kind of made everybody with a little bit of sense kind of cringe about how companies were going kind of go woke, go broke kind of shit and stuff like that.
Well, and here's the thing.
Mhm.
There is, I'm not saying there's no value to an aspect of his approach, like where you're not overly opinionated. I mean, if we're being honest, like, it would be
Good if the
preferable
news did that. Yeah.
it would be preferable if news was shared in a more objective sense.
Mhm.
But the problem is, it's like, okay, if you're going to do that, great. But if you're on YouTube, you're also kind of trying to, it's like entertainment's part of the gig, or at least delivery is part of it, and what you're putting out there is going to be part of it. He wasn't really giving us news that we didn't already know. It's like, so
Mhm.
it felt like this is secondhand, and there's no opinion. So it's like, well, we already know the information. You're you're not really telling us one. It's like, you're not really giving us the news in any way that's all that valuable, because it'd be one thing if you were saying, okay, here are all the facts we actually have about X, whatever Fox here is saying, or whatever CNN is saying here, this is all bull crap here, this is all bull crap there, that's all opinion stuff, here are the actual facts, and you lay it out in such a way, it's like, okay, now I leave it to you to disseminate what you think about this, that, or the other. But it's like, you could do that in such a way that's good, that's interesting, that's even creative. But he was literally just repeating things secondhand and saying nothing. And it's like, what's the point of this? And why are so many people flocking to it? I like, he's really one of those guys that I never quite understood the draw, other than I guess maybe the aesthetic of the layout he had.
Mhm.
Like, I think the layout kind of did a lot of the heavy lifting for him.
Yes. Oh,
Haha,
absolutely.
fat joke again. But yeah, I always found him very boring. Like I said, I watched a few the videos of his
Mhm.
here and there, but stopped very quickly because I was just like, "This is dull. This is really freaking dull. I can literally do what he's doing myself just by looking up the information. He's not telling me things. He's not telling me about things that are hard to find."
Hmm. Yeah. And
So
I think, for a lot of normies, he was helping a lot of them kind of find out what is happening. I would have never even, I didn't even have an interest in, a Magic the Gathering, other than I had some friends back in the day that played it. But I would have never had any idea that they were really doing anything different about it. And it kind of does make you alert to like who's taking over what. But that was his big thing is he's not always been, I would say, mired in controversy. But he always has had a little bit of controversy like every single year after that, where he will drunkenly stream, and then the whole him
yeah,
pissing
that's
the
the
bed.
funny thing is whenever his actual personality would come out, the
Oh
controversy would
yeah,
start.
yeah,
Maybe that's why the delivery was so meh, because like, oh, we can't
yeah.
let them actually know who I am
I can't let
because
them see
they
me.
might not like me as much if they actually know me.
So the second controversy that was still kind of cringe on everybody's side was how many videos in a row that he made, involving the actress who played Captain Marvel, like even her feet and her gangly looking feet, and how her rise and fall from popularity, and them making her more popular than she already was, by complaining about her the whole time. Yeah, Brie Larson. You know uh and then her commenting like he has so many videos about me and all that, and everybody kind of making a big deal about that, and then the next controversy was basically like people were accusing him of all kinds of things outside of his relationship. He was getting doxxed and then swatted a few times, and then he would highly report on his swatting, and then talk about his whole entire experience. Um Moving, and then talking about every bit of his move, and all of that, how much new stuff he's doing and getting, to make things more secure. He got into his coffee thing, and then he started, before the coffee thing, I think he started trying to lean more to
Even
populist right.
even
And
like coffee brand coffee. It's like, yeah, he kind of is he's the perfect person
yeah,
to promote a coffee called
called coffee.
coffee. It's like
Yeah.
even my coffee doesn't have an opinion on what it is.
And yeah, he let it know, like, this coffee isn't supporting, it's not this, it's not that, it's not on the libs, it's not on the Republicans and all that, it's just coffee. And like, oh well, okay, then and the only thing you can have after that is it must be really good freaking coffee. Well, just yeah, it's big nothing burger. Yeah, the dude is the biggest nothing burger on a lot of things. Now, go him for what he's done, that might be positive, and he has helped, defend some accounts that needed defending. But um, I
Yeah,
think,
for a guy for a guy who eats a lot of something burgers, he is a nothing burger. That's true.
yeah, it's filled with cellulose, so you don't get that big by eating high quality food all the time. So, um, anyways, dude always has a little bit of controversy and back and forth drama happening between other creators. And yeah, to the point where now the most recent thing is he was apparently trying to just randomly hit up Brittany Venti, which Vex might know more about her history. Or
I know a bit about her. I mean,
Mhm.
I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of her. Uh,
I think she
but
does definitely go for drama. That's all I know really about her. Is that
yeah, I mean,
she makes it a point.
she's done some things, uh, and I couldn't go into great detail about it, but she's done some things I find rather repulsive at times.
Hmm.
But I don't always necessarily disagree with her takes, but I'm not a fan of her
Yeah,
personally.
it's she's seemed like I guess a slutty edge lord in a way or something like that. I don't know. I don't really know what she
I
is.
don't know. I mean, I don't know if well, no, I don't know if there's anything necessarily slutty about her persona.
Hmm.
Um, she might even like I mean, she's not like necessarily like have I mean, I guess she leans conservative, I suppose, but
Hmm.
uh like I know like I saw her a lot like hanging with like Chrissy Mayer and stuff like
Yeah,
that. I
yeah,
know I've
yeah.
seen her with like she was among the early crop of content creators when I first started to like watch like the FNT people, and then you see the people connected to them. So I kind of guess I found her like soon after that. But yeah, she's done some things and I'm like, yeah, I don't really care for this person, but
Mhm.
whatever. I mean, it's like I said, it's like there are some things she's said that I very much would say I do agree with, but it's like when you see people who do certain things, you're like, yeah, I'm not going to give them too much of my attention. But yeah, I had heard last night about apparently, yeah, he did try to hit up Brittany Venti, and I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
That was really dumb because like Brittany's definitely strikes me as the kind of person who's gonna put that out there. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you want to hit me up this way? Well, that's going out there.
Yeah. Was talking about from the message basically saying something like, I want to help you get back out there. I hated that you're not out there with any rejoin, blah blah blah. It all seemed kind of like that, that guy who's trying to be more than just your buddy. And then he sent some, other people found some explicit things they had said, basically saying that he would, given the boost right here, but he's married. Like I would, totally, do a whole lot of, sketchy shit to be able to bang her, those kind of comments. And the dude is, constantly having to defend his marriage, and now, yeah, you're always like, that doesn't help anything, dude. And then Kino Casino was reporting on some of this drama that's going on, as they do, and um he got their they had their main account, I think, shut down for YouTube, but they still had a clips account, and he was able to get their clips account taken down, and yeah, he denied that he did that. But of course, he went on to video live,
Well, and
and
here's
where
the
he
thing,
makes all of his best mistakes.
yeah, well, and not only that, okay, now this is the one part of the story I am aware of, I guess. He's okay, so granted, I don't follow Kino Casino. I know a little bit about them. Never like I've maybe seen one stream of theirs and I'm just like, it's not really for me. Because like I said, I'm not big into content creator drama, and that's kind of what they're doing. Is like that's kind of their whole shtick. At least it seemed that way. But I was like, okay, let's best faith interpretation. Let's say, sure, quartering, you didn't do that directly, and it's not one of your fake accounts that I'm sure you have. I didn't see you. It's like, but let's say it's a fan of yours. You're not going to call it out. Not going to say, hey, don't do this on my behalf. Don't do this. Period. That's bullcrap. You should not be trying to false flag people. That's garbage. I didn't see nothing like that from him. So, it's purely defensive on his part, saying, "Well, I didn't do it. I didn't do this and everything." It's like, okay, even if I believe that, which I'm not sure I do.
Yeah.
Granted, I haven't seen the evidence one way or the other, but I'm like, I sure as heck haven't seen you condemn that kind of thing. And if you say you stand for free speech and all that crap, then you absolutely should be saying, "Hey, do not do this to them. I may not like them. We may not get along, and they may be covering me in a way that's unflattering. Do not take them down on my behalf. That is bull crap."
Mhm.
It's like you could advocate for them, and it's like and come out looking pretty classy. And it's like, no, he's not doing that, which leads me to think there's a good chance that if he's not doing it, he's somebody because here's the thing, Quartering doesn't do all this alone. He doesn't do all of his stuff alone. When you got that big a channel, you've got employees. So it's like you're not helping your case when you do nothing to advocate for, keeping them platformed and everything.
Yeah,
So
we had one of his former employees on our channel, didn't we?
yeah,
Low,
Lofty.
Lofty, yeah.
Yeah.
So, uh, and in which I don't think he said anything negative about him, but I did hear, there were a few people on Twitter basically coming out saying like, hey, he doesn't pay that great, and yeah, he definitely does not want to have any guidance whatsoever. He doesn't, want anybody helping out with production. That basically you'll be attaching yourself to a ticking time bomb because he goes off every so often, and that's Lofty has been kind of caught in that crossfire before too. And your employer, you want to defend your employer, but it's always an awkward situation, and I think a whole another reason why Lofty kind of ended up taking yet another break of the online lifestyle and all that. It's because anything added on top of already working for the quartering has to be has to be devastating. Um, but yeah, so he had revealed, accidentally that his that he had sent and reported something to YouTube. Probably not. That doesn't look good right now, especially when you do as always. He fucked up live, and he is now doing another stupid thing live. And so I think Copa had pointed out basically like we're getting ready to see him go on a hiatus. Where he's going to have to wait till this blows over because it does not look good. Nobody likes it, and he's going to have a come to Jesus moment. And he really honestly
Maybe,
should.
maybe, but can he? Because I mean, I know he's got a big channel. It's probably generated a lot of revenue, but his stuff's not really rewatchable.
Mm.
So will
It's
he
not evergreen.
generate
No,
enough?
no, no.
Yeah, I mean, his stuff's kind of the opposite of evergreen content. Like, that's can he survive off of doing that? Does he have like? I mean, maybe he has maybe he has enough capital saved up to where he can afford to do that. Maybe, um, he should. Um, but it's if you're living off of your content, I mean, this isn't like. I mean, he doesn't have stuff like Mauler or something where you can go back and rewatch it and still have a really good time with it, or ER or someone like that. It's like his stuff is very much like in the moment, and then it's kind of over and done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, granted, he has a ton of stuff.
Hmm.
So, but I wouldn't. I'd have a hard time if it's just living off of your content. It's like I'm not sure he could just stop. So he might have to take the issue and apology route, or just so maybe we'll just see that ship sink. We'll
Yeah.
see. I definitely agree that he needs to come to Jesus moment, of course.
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's it's an interesting situation, I guess, in some respects. I mean, granted, it's content creator stuff, so I'm like I have an aversion
Yeah.
to it
There's only so much you can
inherently,
care about
but
it, and I get that.
yeah. I mean, I'll say this. I mean, and I don't mean this in a mean way, but like if his stuff stopped being
You're
made,
not trying to be mean.
I wouldn't notice. I'm sorry. I just probably wouldn't notice. I'd be like, "Oh, really? That's
Right.
that's
I've never seen him actually come out with breaking news.
yeah."
It
I
just
haven't watched a video of his in years, so
if
I wouldn't notice if he was gone. Not necessarily saying I'm rooting for him to go away.
Mhm.
I'd more root for the redemption arc, but it's not up to me. I'm not close enough to him to where it's like I can do much more than just say, Lord be with you.
Yeah. So definitely needs to. I saw somebody make a comment, and it was the most based and realistic comment. Is that honestly, the dude just needs to stop. He does need to take a break, and he does. He's supposedly really good with money and blah blah blah. So he should take himself a break, get into church, maybe enjoy some of these riches that he has on the new property and the new mansion and this and that, and just stop. Stop. And get into church. Really reevaluate where you are in life with marriage and
Well,
hopefully.
if he has it's not even just the getting into church. It's like, dude, it's like clearly there's some moral foundational issues that this guy
Hmm.
has.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah,
so it's like not don't just go to church, let yourself get corrected.
yeah,
Except it's part of why I find it so telling that he did not advocate on Kino's behalf
right,
to it's like, hey, hey, you all stop doing this crap. This I mean, aside from hey, it's a bad look for me for one thing, but also it's just wrong. And I'm like, okay, so you're not it's like I don't care that these people are your enemies. I understand like there may be some vitriol there for that, but at the same time, it's like, hey, principles are what you ultimately are going to be judged on. It's like if you stand for them. So it's like if you want to know why Melanie Matt catches a lot of flack, is because it often seems like her actions are in conflict with the principles she says she has. There seems to be a lot of inconsistency there, and I'm like, I think that's a fair criticism of her. Um, Quartering, it's just like, wow, it's like he's on a free speech platform like Rumble, and it's like, well, he seems to not advocate very strongly for it when it affects somebody he doesn't like, and I'm like, I hate to tell you, but the point of free speech is that it protects things you don't like.
Yeah, it's a two-way street.
Like if you, it's like if you want to come at, it's like, and here's the thing, you could go right back at them if you want. It's like that. I mean, if you're wanting to farm the drama and actually defend yourself, it's like don't advocate for them to be taken down. Advocate against the opposite and say, hey, well, let's go at this. Let's like let's suss this out together. Or just shoot, I don't care. Make a video about them. That'd probably be more spicy and interesting than anything else.
Yeah. Getting them taken down for a
um,
technicality just shows that he's one of those people that he knows how to
Well,
work
and
the
it's
system.
reaching for the
Mhm.
technicality to keep
Mhm.
their content off and everything. But yeah, like I said, it's like if you're gonna have that come to Jesus moment and step away, it's like you need to have your priorities and your principles altered because clearly you're you're not living by them, or you need some reevaluation of what those are
Right.
because you're not consistent.
So enough of the goitering. Done. Done. Oh, also, yeah. Women's latest trainers go viral as they look like Adolf Hitler. There you go.
Wait,
What? What,
uh,
Gord?
like at first I saw this and I was like, just huh? I have not seen this meme, and I looked up at them. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess it's Adolf with a bit of Joker mixed. Okay, I guess it's what's his face? It's the Gypsy Crusader shoe.
Yeah. But these are for
What
when
the
you
heck?
really, really want to finish a race. Oh,
Uh,
bless it.
that's awesome.
Random
That's
note.
funny. That's funny.
Random note moment. It takes roughly 370 liters of water to produce 1 liter of almond milk. There we go. I'm gonna point that out.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I just find that
I've never had almond milk. I don't know if it's good or bad. I
it
have
tastes
no
like
idea.
skim milk with whatever they add in, like some type of vanilla flavoring and all that. And I've had some people in my life
So it
that
tastes more like creamer almost.
yeah. And I've had some people defend it like pretty hardcore, like and it's always seems the people to be on kind of left leaning. But yeah, anyway, so next little quick story. Mozilla has introduced a new non-binary mascot called Kit.
Uh,
So the note under here will say they didn't directly say that they're non-binary, but they did give them pronouns of he, she, it, they, because it's a image and they want it to be applicable to anybody. Which to me just sounds like a furry, made this design and they're like, we really want it to be. So Mozilla, Firefox, they
the
have
fact that you're even using a mascot to even have this conversation
yeah.
is pure cringe. And it's like, it's a mascot. Just say, this is our fox. Its name's Kit. If anyone asks, well, what's Kit's gender? It's like, I'd be like, piss off.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yep.
Shut up.
Loser.
And then I'd probably add a slur, but that I'm not going to say on the stream. But gosh, it's so retarded.
Something
I mean,
that
it's not to say you can't pick male or female as the sex and everything, but I'm just like, I would just look at that person and be like,
what the fuck is wrong with you?
this is a mascot. Why are we? It's like, do you seriously want to have this conversation? Get out of here. Don't go use Google.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So
Of course, my advice for people is use Brave, especially if you want to avoid the ads. Watch Brave. Use Brave. I added Brave to my phone. It's, gosh, oh my gosh, like
I want to try it out.
I almost kind of chuckle at myself. Well, because okay, granted, you can watch YouTube from Brave, but you have to. It's not like using the YouTube app. It's like you click on Brave and then you type in YouTube. So the navigation's a little bit different. But gosh, not having all these videos and podcasts I listen to interrupted by ads every 3 or 4 minutes, which is what it's become on YouTube. It's just like a relief. It's a relief. But yeah, so if you're listening to stuff off your phone, get Brave.
I'm very interested in trying that. So this was like I was saying earlier, the development of everything that kind of went on with him and the prostitutes and the people that were caught on camera, the women who were in his office and stuff like that. And then we also get into people who were a bunch of Democrats who all came out, and reporters come out saying, "Well, everybody kind of knew that he was doing that. It was kind of an open secret." And like, you dumb fucks.
Why are we back on the Animal Farm thing?
Well, I just got rid of that. Sorry. By the way, follow Jeff Dye sometime. For people who like some good comedy. He's became a Christian, and
Oh, that's cool.
he grew up in with Christianity and stuff like that. It's just, he definitely knows that he put it on the back burner, had to get over alcoholism and stuff like that. So he's definitely not one of those people who is just insufferable. I like that, in any form or way and all that. But he's just over time, working out. He does a show, called Die Hard. If that gives you any
Oh.
any idea of where his mind is on jokes and stuff like that. But he's done very well, I think, and I'm pretty glad for him. And it's also, of course, he's one of those people who lost a ton of friends the moment that he barely spoke to anybody on the right. So, anywho, he's I guess good comedy, but I had to say this because we know that Cannoli got to recently go out and go to see some Mario related things and all that. So
He got to visit his pixelated homeland.
let's see.
This is just art cartoon form Italy.
Yeah. This is basically like you go around a corner, you're expecting, to be able to, eat the walls and all that. It's like Willy Wonka, but for Italians, Willy Wonka and the Gabagool factory. Let's see, but yeah, the absolute amount of ads I get you there, Boosh. I experienced ads for 2 days, and that was too much. So I feel sorry for the people with who are, and they're way more now. They are so much more, and I've seen it happen on my wife's phone. I was like, babe, you're in school. You need to get a YouTube account and like get you a school account. And so she gets hers for like $7 a month now, and now she doesn't have ads, and she freaking loves it. She's downloading everything, and she's like, I mean, even when the power goes out, we don't have any signal, phone signal, and all this and that. I can still listen to videos. I'm like, yeah, have so much fun. All right, so that goes back to showing about kiwi farms and all that, and this quick moment, which we've already covered. But anyway, there's the address that. So if you want to look that up for anything that's kiwi farms, I had to put that out there. And
We're doing the Crowder thing, like these are all the sources of what we talked about.
We'll make sure that you have the sources that they never our video. Let's see. Full blown ads. Yeah. Well, yeah, people got paid for that shit though. Let's see. That was Copa's little take on it that we've already mentioned. Stuff I say for turning drawings into AI. Okay. Really quick mention. Probably I won't mention the source, but somebody that I know was on their way to making a delivery, going through Nashville, and or passing through the interstate near Nashville, and literally had to dodge and go around 2 times now a Waymo vehicle, one of these self-driving vehicles. They're your little taxis. With people who you can't control it. The customer can't control it. They can't climb out of the back seat and start driving it. You have to have an employee, or something special has to happen. Somebody has to take control of it if they can connect to it. But anyway, they were in the middle of the interstate, stopped, with vehicles flying around them from 70 to 90 miles per hour. And one person was actually still in the vehicle. They hadn't climbed out of the vehicle and got on the side of the road. So that is some scary shite. This is a few years off before we'll be getting to this, even with all the cameras that they use to help, guide and judge everything. These things are unreliable. Please don't put your life in the hands of these things. Like find a different thing for a time. Maybe if you're
one
going.
of the weirdest cultural trends that I guess that's going on, and I see this in so many different facets,
Hmm.
is things get rolled out way before they're ready.
Yeah, we need it
And you would,
now.
I mean, and like I see this at my workplace. I see this with, I mean, we're seeing this with AI, uh, vehicles that are self-driving that haven't had their kinks worked out, getting just put out there. I'm like, that's kind of insane to me. It's
Yeah.
like you would, it's like, no, you need a years long testing phase, and you did think through all these various possibilities of, well, what if this happens? Well, what if that happens? What's the override for, this going wrong? This is the kind of stuff that should have been worked out in the testing phase. The fact, like, granted, I haven't seen these things on the road over here, but obviously Tennessee is not too far from me, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah, it's usually just in the bigger cities, too, and all that. But it's more of that. They were trying to beat any other, person to market to do it, and it's at the cost of the customer, So, um, yeah, scary shit. Also, very funny video that you had sent me. That look on his face is so funny. Look at that. I
Oh,
love it. I love it. Oh, it's like the,
it's such an
look at
Asian face.
that.
Yeah, I saw that and I laughed and I was like, yeah, once that face was made, I lost it.
There you go. There you go. Good job, everybody. I'm so
This is
glad.
an element to it I didn't even see. It's just like, oh, the fact
Oh, the
that we have so many
comments.
faces that map
Yes.
onto this, it's great. That's awesome.
I don't know what the fuck that is. But oh yeah, love it, love it, love it. That's kind of a keeper, so we might be. All right. There's Conor McGregor talking about a little bit what we were talking about earlier. He's just basically giving a pep speech to Ireland to like basically, hey, keep up the good work, and try to keep keep these protests going. They have actually.
Anytime you see him, you say, hey, who the fuck is that
Who
guy?
the fuck? And that's Connor. This is thing that I already sent you from Jay Dyer's account, and we don't really have time to go over all that. But and this
Yeah,
was
we have to do a whole stream, like, where we just kind
yeah,
of cover one of these discussions, debates, or a couple of like the shorter ones.
yeah,
Because it's really rich content. It's really interesting stuff. But yeah, it's so we'll have to hold on to that.
yeah. This is of course the finally the I'm out. I'm out, bros. I'm still walking out with saying like there's some serious false allegations against me, but anyways, I'm leaving. I'm officially
But
leaving.
I'm out. But it's like it's false. However,
The machine's
done.
against me. But this was funny after
I did
see-
see that.
Hilarious. Well done. Go them. Let's see. Randomly, I saw this also. I am a lapsed Catholic because I had recently heard a debate that involved Tim Pool, Dyer, and a few other people and stuff like that. And
That is
Tim
gosh,
Pool,
what's funny is, so that one kind of came like little bits of that came across my feed. Like, okay, because one thing Brave does, it does a little bit of the autoplay stuff. Like once something finishes, you generally will get something similar. Well, that came across it again while I was like working and listening, and it played like that one part in particular when Tim was where he thought he was turning the logic back on Jay, and I was like, it is so painful to listen to Tim think that he's doing the same thing. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not doing the same thing. What Jay's doing has gone completely over your head, and it's like, yeah, I was like, and if there's one thing that I find especially cringe, it's confident stupidity.
yeah.
Like stupidity just kind of makes me sad. Confident stupidity makes me cringe. Like if you watch can't remember what the girl's name is, but Rachel Wilson did a debate on whatever with this FemCon.
Yeah.
And the whole that's like I enjoyed watching the debate, but it's one of those where I only could watch it in bits because she is like the chick she's debating is the epitome of confident stupidity. Like the only thing I guess that like I'll say is if she were ugly, it would be unwatchable. Because like that's the one I guess decent thing about the FemCon is she is attractive, but that's
Mhm.
the only reason she has, I guess any small following whatsoever. Because some of some of these people who appear on these debates, if they kind of hold their own, they might gain a little bit of following. You might hear a little bit about them again. This chick has already seems to have disappeared. And it's because she performed so miserably.
Yeah.
Came off looking like a complete retard, but gosh, she was just pure confident stupidity, and I was just like, "Gosh, this chick is cringe to listen
It's
to." Like,
ridiculous how
literally had what feminism and libertarianism and all that stuff laid out to her. All of it represented her views. She acknowledged it represented her views, but then it's like, so you're a feminist. Oh, I'm not a feminist. It's like you
but
literally just had all of your worldview described to you, and you agreed with it. Oh, but I'm not that. It's like it's basically the trans thing. I know
Yeah.
I'm not this, but I identify as. It's
Yeah.
like,
It's a total
like,
denial of reality and
oh
of
my
of
gosh. I
definitions.
was like it's what like, and we've discussed this later before. It's like Lila Rose will at least more or less identify with first wave feminism, which granted I think is awful. I think if she understood the entailments, I think it's born of ignorance.
Mhm.
But maybe I'm being maybe a little bit generous there, but it's like she does. I'm being generous for the sake of the fact that she does at least stand for something I agree with in the anti-abortion stuff. But I don't think she realizes she undermines a lot of it by being at all feminist. But she at least will admit that she identifies with it. It's like this chick would not identify with it at all. And I'm like, lady, you're not even first wave. You're closer to like third or fourth. It's like not a single position she seemed to have other than being anti-abortion. All of the rest of it was left leaning. All
Yeah.
of it. I was
And
like,
so you see how easy
who
it
do
is
you
for
think you're
people
fooling?
to
It's
get
like
into these circles and to become an influencer, you know?
I was asking myself while she was talking, I was like, who do you think you're fooling? And by the end of it, I was like, oh, she's fooled herself.
Mhm.
She's just stupid. She's just really, really stupid. And yeah, it's like listening to Tim and that Jay Dyer debate, I was like, it was just this egregious moment of confident stupidity. And I was like, oh, Tim, stop. Because I says, I think it's a little worse when it comes from a guy. I think
Mhm.
it's worse when it comes from a guy.
Well,
Because
his
you're holding,
whole
we're trying to hold men to a higher standard. And it's like, dude, confident stupidity is a bad look for a guy.
Mhm. I mean, his whole thing is he had Adam Krigler, who's sometimes cringe alert to me. But he had him on there and he disagreed with Tim Pool too many times. He wasn't a yes man and he didn't really he challenged, Tim just too many times, I feel like. And they had, personal stuff going on too. But when, Adam decided like, oh crap, I encouraged abortion and I've done something terrible and that makes me a bad person and makes me further away from Christ and I'm going to pay for that for the rest of my life and started coming out against it. Tim was like and he's always had this air of like even when I'm wrong I'm still right, that kind of bad guy in a movie. Yeah, I mean I think he
Well,
is
yeah,
a
okay, like, okay, if you want, okay, I'm gonna give somebody and a woman a ton of credit. Granted, there's a little bit of cringiness to this discussion, but I would encourage people to watch Andrew Wilson's recent interview with Jillian Michaels.
Mhm.
Like I said, there's a little bit of cringe to it. And I'm not even talking about the views she held. She's kind of doing this thing where she's constantly just like, oh, I see. Yes, okay, I get it. Yes, I see. And I'm like, it kind of got a little grating after a while. But aside from that, she listened to the
Wow.
positions that Andrew was showing her and seemed to at least consider that, okay, yeah, maybe, yeah, that actually does actually make sense. Cause like saying it makes sense is one thing, but when you can kind of start repeating it back and start to recognize the logic verbally, you start to say, okay, they are actually starting to get this. So I'll give her some credit. Despite there being obvious, differences she would have like with some people on the right, but particularly, with some aspects of Christianity, obviously she, lives a lifestyle that's not, cohesive with Christianity, not necessarily her being with a woman. But she actually listened to a lot of what he had to say and seemed to understand it after a while. And it was like, okay, yeah, actually, that sounds more reasonable than I would have initially thought. And I'm like, you know what? Good for her. Good for her. It was actually a really good conversation.
I got a comment on that. I had recently found her as of late last year, near kind of in fall, and I just really, she had went on, done a tour of basically where she's now in a group where she's having to be, she was kind of pushed out from the left too, like because the left had went even more left with, especially with the whole trans thing, and
That and the fact that she's obviously a fitness chick and everything. She, if you don't
she
remember
has
her, she was on that
standards.
show. Yeah, she was on The Biggest Loser, back in the day, and
Yeah, and
now
she
that's
got
just it's like,
workout
well, it's
videos
funny. Like
everywhere.
I would imagine. Gosh, it's funny. I would be curious to hear what leftists think of a show like that now, because they probably look at that as like, oh my gosh, that show was built on body
Built on,
shaming or something.
yeah.
And I think like stuff like that, yeah, probably pushed her closer to the center. Uh, and it's like, granted, I don't know like all her views on all various things. Obviously, I know that she's in a relationship with a woman and everything, so it's not obviously conducive with Christianity or everything. But the left has obviously pushed her to the side, and now she's like,
Hmm.
okay, well, let's listen to some other people. So I will, that I
Yeah.
thought that was a really, I didn't expect a lot from that discussion initially, because I've personally never found Jillian to be super interesting. I watched
Hmm.
a little bit of her Jubilee performance, and I was like, okay, it's not bad, but gosh, she was dealing with like the lowest tier, group of people
Hmm.
imaginable, because defending, an unhealthy lifestyle as healthy is, again, like, it's the lowest tier amount of stupidity. And I thought, somebody else could have probably done it better.
Yeah.
But watching her discussion with Andrew Wilson, like I said, I didn't expect a lot, but I was like, I ended up watching the whole thing. And I was like, this is actually
You
not a
can.
bad discussion. This actually, because she's paying attention, and she pushes back a bit where she disagrees, but she also lets him reason her through the opposing position. And I was like, good for her, because that's something that a lot of people who disagree will not allow you to do.
Well, that's what Rachel Wilson's opponent didn't do. That's a big difference right there. Is that I'd seen her on Mike Rowe and Adam Carolla's show and all that, and I was like, dang, she's got some pretty good takes here, and go her. Like, I'm glad that she's able to articulate. I'm glad that she's able to talk this through and to share her side of the story about like you know and yeah, she actually had standards, and that's unbelievable for people that are leftists and all that, so she obviously was getting ushered and kicked out of that out of that group, like you're not special enough anymore, sorry Lesbo, you lick more carpet than my dog, but you're no longer part of the crew. And so for her to have that kind of conversation with Andrew, Andrew can be just as abrasive and more
Oh,
so.
well, Andrew's thing is he'll match energy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's kind of one of the other interesting things about the conversation is she's very respectful and kind,
Hmm.
and he returns it completely. Obviously he's very much still a guy in the discussion. So like when he, is discussing a certain topic, he's like, don't you think that sounds stupid and everything? But he's not like throwing it in her face like you're an idiot for thinking. No, it's like it's actually probably the longest discussion I've maybe seen him in where it doesn't go off the rails at all. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm willing to give her a lot of credit for it, because despite there being some disagreement, it's an entirely good faith conversation
I'm good. I get to listen
that
to that today now.
never like really never descends into any form of name calling. It never descends into anything like that. Again, I'm not completely against it when it happens, like from, okay, if somebody's matching energy, it's like, I think that's acceptable. It's rhetoric. Uh, but when somebody who's in disagreement with another doesn't engage like that, and then the other person, is like, hey, yeah, we'll just keep this cool, we'll keep this
Hmm.
kind, we'll keep this friendly. It's like, it was like, wow, that was really cool. It was actually really cool. And for such a lengthy conversation, I was like, good for her.
This could have went bad so
I
many places
appreciated
and it
that.
didn't. Yeah.
Easily. Yeah. It's like
Um,
easily.
the reason why I had saved this is because it is Tim Pool. He is, he does have a big and rather loud voice, and for a lot of people who are that weird area of like, I'm a libertarian, and this and that, and I don't need Christianity for my feelings and all that. So
And
whenever
libertarianism, let's be real, has a bit of self-defeating quality
oh
to it.
yeah,
Libertarian is just it's the doormat of political philosophy. It's
yeah,
like
it's
you're
like
just laying there like a doormat, just
I'm
letting
just gonna
everything happen
criticize everybody and do nothing and be
and
nihilistic.
do nothing. Oh, let's just allow everything. It's like, well, if you allow everything, you're an idiot because you're going to be overrun by people who are not willing to match that with you. It is the dumbest political philosophy out there. It's like libertarianism is pure retardation. It just doesn't live in objective reality whatsoever.
It's I want to be able to be friends with everybody and criticize everybody and
Yeah,
get away with it.
it's such a bizarre kind of maybe you could consider it somewhat utopian even. I mean, from at least from their perspective, this idea of can't we all just get along? It's like, no, we can't. It's like, no, we can't. That's so wake up. We're not going to all just get along. I'm sorry. That's not how it works. We're not You're asking for everybody around you to be homogenous, and it's like,
Yeah.
if you want that, go to another country where it's closer to that, but none of them stay homogenous for very long.
Nope, nope. I mean,
views.
it's like watching, the Road Warrior, like any of the Mad Max, and thinking, yeah, I'm gonna come out on top in that situation, and my family after that are gonna come out on top, and they'll always be good and secure, and this is a good, reliable system, and we'll totally have electricity, we'll totally have everything flowing and going, and everything will be nice, because I'm definitely that badass. Like, no, bro, you're not. But anyway, he was, saying this, and I think the reason that I say it is because I think enough conversations of between him and Dyer and him and Wilson, and has finally come to him and said, like, you can only fight these people so long before you see that they're winning every single debate that they're going to. They're coming out ahead for good reason. It makes.
Well, to Tim's credit, he's won debates before.
Yeah,
it's just like Tim's not a bad debater.
Yeah, he's not. He's not stupid.
But the problem is, it's like when you go up against somebody like Jay or like an Andrew Wilson, somebody who is very clearly your superior. Like Tim is a good normie debater.
Yeah,
I guess I might call him.
He can trip up a lot of normies. Yeah.
When you see a guy like Jay debate, and once you start to understand what he's doing, you realize there's not many people on that level to begin with. So, which is why a lot of his debates seem to end so quickly, and where he's kind of gotten to the point where it's like once he sees things going off the rails, he doesn't have a lot of patience for it because he's like, I've dealt with this a million times. It's like if all you have are these low tier arguments, we're done, because it's like there's no point engaging after that. And some people walk away. It's like, he ran from a debate. It's like, no, it's just like you weren't even. It's like you couldn't even. It's like watching a toddler trying to do a 15-foot pole vault. It's like there's no point in you even trying. What are you doing? It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And granted, again, I'll give Tim credit. He's not quite that bad or anything like that.
No.
I think he's good enough to actually be involved in the conversation. But it's like, if you can't get past the fundamental, you're just going to look stupid.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why it's like, it's like if you're going to debate somebody like Jay, it's like you need at least some working understanding of debate fundamentals. And I'll tell you this is part of because I've been thinking about this a lot, obviously, we've talked a lot about, me examining orthodoxy and whatnot. Part of what is pushing me more towards that side, aside from the arguments they have and, that he's presented being so strong and so foundationally
is it like the group
strong and everything,
like their type is sorry, I'm presupposing about what you're about to say, but is it like the group, kind of like the type of people it attracts?
No, nothing like that. If anything, when I see in particular him debate Protestants, it's two things. It's one, how awful they are at understanding debate fundamentals, because I'm like, okay, part of the reason debate fundamentals are important, particularly in a religious discussion, is because it shows religious fundamentals. It shows, it's, if you don't understand your own foundational principles, you're in a really bad spot to have a debate.
Yeah.
But you're not even in a great spot religiously, because it's like, if you don't have religious fundamentals, it's like, that's something you really need to get set straight. But the other thing is, and this is even this is the thing that really became eye-opening as I started to listen to him do these debates with Protestants, is how much ground they did concede. And because I was like, I don't think you all understand, if you're agreeing that X and Y are true from what he says,
Mhm.
then I don't think you recognize the entailments of. And this is one thing, I messaged you this week. It's like, um, part of why I think orthodoxy does attract, and this goes to your point about groups, attracts people like Jay,
Yes.
is aside from it probably being correct, from what I'm gathering, it's like I'm having a hard time denying just about anything that I'm seeing at this point. But orthodoxy, what's so fascinating about it, at least in, as far as what I've looked at recently, is it really seems like the entailments of various positions they have spent a lot of time working out. Uh, that's why I sent that video about like icons and stuff, is because there was a lot of that in that video that I found so fascinating, that we think X because it's like, why would, well, there was a section of that where he talks about why we reject this, because this leads to that, and that leads to this, and that leads to this. And I'm like, wow, they are really showing that they thought through a lot of the entailments of a position that on its surface you might not think is all that disagreeable. Because I know he was having a conversation with I think it was a Protestant who said, well, what if, a person's coming in, or I think it was somebody who was inquiring about orthodoxy who had come from Protestantism, and he was wondering, well, is it really that big a deal if, somebody coming in is you know, about to be baptized into the church, has a discomfort with, icons and stuff. And Jay said, well, yes, that's a huge problem, because this leads to that, that leads to this leads to that, and everything. And I was kind of blown away by that. And I was like, okay, I'm starting to see why this is so foundationally strong, is because unlike, very much unlike Protestantism, and to a pretty strong extent, unlike a lot of Catholicism I see, is they really have thought through a lot of the entailments of all these positions. And I'm like, yep, that's probably why somebody who has a penchant for debate like Jay or like Wilson, why orthodoxy kind of informs that strength, is because you're literally coming from a worldview where entailments are thought through and considered, and there's a lot of discussion about, okay, if this leads to that, then we have to get rid of that, and if that leads to this, then we have to keep that. It's like there's a lot of that in this religion, and I'm like, yeah, I can see why I can see why maybe the two strongest conservative debaters we have are of the same religion.
Yeah, which is
Starting to
amazing
see
because
why.
I just listened to the first time that before we got on here, I was outside, working, and I was listening to apparently the first interview that Jay had Andrew on. It was on the radio, so he did have to kind of warn Jay at one point, like, "Hey, we can't," just keep in mind that we're on the radio. There's only certain things that you need to watch. A few things that we say, and yeah, he did well after that, but it was a very, like that was their first interview together. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh, so, and I guess he knew him through, the fact that there's another Orthodox, ortho guy online and stuff like that. And, or
Well, plus
OCC,
Jay's
I
been
guess.
at it for like, I know Andrew hasn't been at this for super long,
Hmm.
maybe 5 years,
But he's making
whereas
big, hella
Jay's been around
waves.
like Jay's been around for like over a decade apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
He's been around a while. So,
back
but
in the
so
long hair
like I
days.
had, yeah, like I had heard his name, I think, before I found out who Andrew Wilson was.
Yeah.
But I didn't know really anything, and I probably heard of him because he did things for InfoWars, I guess. I didn't know that. I didn't It was just one of those names that was like, it sounds familiar, but I'm just not sure from where. And then where it started to click a little bit is when Andrew Wilson and Jake Rattlesnake did the tier list of kind of political commentators, and he basically there was debating people on like their charisma and their intelligence and their debate skills and everything.
Yeah.
And then he brought up Jay and just put him on that high tier, and I was like, okay, again, his name sounds familiar, but maybe I need to actually pay attention to who this is. And then I learned a little bit about him first. And I was like, okay, I'm interested. Now I want to see. And I started to look into his stuff. And I would say this, the approach I took to his stuff, I think, has also been really helpful, because, I was already in a position where I was willing to let my views be challenged, but I was like, I don't want to do it quite face to face just yet because I would feel like I would be a little too biased coming out of the gate. So I started by watching him debate like atheists, Catholics, Mormons, Muslim people I already disagreed with, because I was like, okay, if I start there, I'll get a beat on his intelligence, his ability to debate, and his position, and I probably will hear some of his critiques of my worldview, but it won't be in the framing of like it won't feel confrontational to me. My biases won't be as likely to kick in right out of the gate. I kind of knew I need to wean myself onto this stuff if I'm going to let my views be this challenged. And boy, before I even got to the Protestant stuff, I was like, oh boy, I have a feeling this is going to rattle me a bit because this guy's really good. This guy knows what he's talking about.
Right.
Like, this guy's really good. And then when I actually got into that stuff and the more I've gotten deep into it, I'm like, dang, it's, I mean, on the one hand, it's actually, I mean, I don't want to make it sound like it's all terrible. It's not terrible at all. It's actually really exciting in a way, but boy, those initial, like some of those initial ones, and even occasionally when I come across a new thing that maybe I haven't thought of, like a Protestant position, maybe I haven't heard him yet challenge. Occasionally I'll come across a new one I haven't heard a challenge for, but I'm like, oh yeah, wow. Either orthodoxy is just flat out true, or he's just really good at making me feel like a retard.
Yeah, when you
Because I know
sent
the
that to me
latter's
the other
true.
day.
I know the latter's true. Yeah. So I'm just repeating that part, but I'm like, yeah, it's like I kind of knew right before I got to the Protestant stuff. I was like, dang, this is not gonna be fun for at least the first few days.
Yeah.
But really, within about 2 or 3 days of listening to it, I was already like, okay, yeah, because some of it was playing off of, at least in a way, there was a bit of interplay, at least for me mentally, hearing some things that I had long had questions about in regard to Protestantism, because there's always been arguments from the Protestant side that I've had an issue with. Uh, that internally I was like, I might parrot them, but kind of knew they weren't great arguments.
Hmm.
Uh, or just questions I would have about one position or another. And hearing him actually attack those directly and actually have answers that were far more satisfying and far more, logical, I was like, yep, that's kind of what I've been looking for on that front,
Yeah.
because I had a problem with this already. Uh, yeah, hearing a lot of that. So even though maybe like the first couple of days were a little bit painful, it was also, there was a lot of satisfying elements to it also. And since then, like I said, these last few weeks have been really fascinating. To kind of see like the various positions and see the logic behind it and see the backing religiously, to where it's like I'm becoming more and more hungry for information and stuff. Like I'm thankful that I came across a stream Sunday where he actually recommended like some starting points if you're wanting to examine like the writings of the church fathers. He gave this guy some recommendations, so I've already started wish listing those. I've got one coming tomorrow. I've got one of those books
Oh,
coming tomorrow. But yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, I've got some material that I can read myself. I think the first one I've got is let's see, I've got uh, On the Incarnation from Athanasius. And I
Hmm.
was like, okay, so that's one he recommended. I was like, okay, cool. So that'll give me a little bit of starting point. But and I've got some other ones wish list, and thankfully they're not like super expensive. Like On the Incarnation is only like $8. And I was like, all right, cool.
Okay, well,
So
that'd be a good place to start then. Yeah.
yeah, like because literally the guy was asking, if I'm wanting to get into this, what are some starting points for me? He goes, okay, I would recommend this, 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 and this. And I was like, all right, cool. So I wish listed all the one, like the first one he listed. It's like I do need some clarity on, because at first I thought this was the title of something I could just grab, but it requires a bit of knowledge going in that I didn't quite have. So it's like I need to investigate a little bit. He said start with like the post apostolic fathers, and I'm like, I don't know who all of those are. So like what specifically? Like I think I have a beat on what he meant, but I want to be certain first. But all the other ones I've wish listed. So yeah, it's kind of fun being being challenged in this way, but also it's made me hungrier for more information, because I'm like, yeah, all of this foundational stuff I've kind of always figured must be super important. It's just I feel like the side I come from has been woefully misinformed or just not informed at all.
Yeah.
So
Um, that's been probably the best part is being able to correct a lot of basic misunderstandings that I had, or then nothing that I would ever repeat, because like I know enough to not say what I don't know in the Bible. I've never been into that being like, well, it says that you should say this and that, and then just totally like blaspheming.
Well, that's actually a good point. Is like it's made me far more reluctant to get like uh really deeply involved in certain religious discussions where you get like hyper specific about what text means, because I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, I might be woefully ignorant of what this means.
because we don't know
So I
what
need
all the
to
church
so I
fathers say.
Right, exactly. So I was like, I need to take a step back until I've got some of this worked out, because it's like that's an easy trap to fall into as you're
Hmm.
learning is, well, now I need to go out and inform and tell all this stuff. It's like, no, you need to take a step back and iron all of this stuff out and get yourself educated. You need to humble yourself a bit. Uh, like I said, like we're having this discussion, kind of as that part of, I think, the ironing out process. But it's like if someone were to ask me like theological questions, I'd be like, I would never. It's like at this point, I'm like, I don't ask me. I'll refer you to somebody else, perhaps.
Hmm.
But I now kind of have myself in a position where it's like I need to humble myself a bit outside of certain like basic discussions, because there's a lot I've clearly have the wrong impression of.
Right. I totally agree there. And there's just a lot of stuff that I've got to discuss with my wife over the past few days that I know her understanding of it. And I know, that basically I had my questions on certain things and I would be like, I don't think that's totally right. But I had no way to prove it. And, now I have a better reference for it. But even then, I still need to go, and I just never realized the importance whatsoever, as like if you're in more, as what I found out was called, charismatic, churches and stuff like that. Uh, when you're in those type of churches, they focus on nothing, telling the
Mhm.
the group nothing. And our very first conversation was kind of based on like showing that even our guest speakers are coming here and they're just telling us like stories, but then adding in a little sprinkle dinkle of Jesus, and treating Jesus like the magic 8 ball kind of thing, and or
Mhm.
treating Jesus like the genie, give a prayer, and blah 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 blah, it was it's been so eye opening to me that like I was part of that, and they never once would focus on, like I said, about.
Oh, you're muted.
Because
Can't
I'm
hear you.
getting my headphones back set.
Oh, gotcha. Well, real quick, Boosh asks, like, what do I think
Okay,
of the Trump healer meme? I'll go ahead and answer that real quick.
thank you.
I think okay. So is it clearly blasphemous? Not necessarily. Could be though, because intent's going to be a factor there. I think at best uh, it was very stupid to put that out there. And for one thing,
Agreed.
he put it out there on Sunday. Sunday was actually Orthodox Easter. Uh, so the timing couldn't have been more idiotic, even if you didn't intend to, make a direct comparison between yourself and
Yeah.
Christ. But even if that wasn't the intent, it's like I said, it was a silly, stupid thing to do. I have a hard time believing he just meant to put himself out there as a healer, given like the nature of the imagery. I think he was clearly trying to be evocative of religion, and the typical figure we associate with healing in religion is Jesus Christ. So even if that's not your intent, you have to think that's the moment where you pause and you say, well, this could be very easily be construed as something else. Maybe I shouldn't do that. It's like this is where you need a little bit of self-awareness. So, and again, this is best faith interpretation of that. So I tend now, is it do I objectively know it was blasphemous? No, I don't. I tend to think it probably was him trying to compare himself to Christ, because I think he has a whole lot of horrible religious advisors around him.
Mhm.
I think he has some of the worst possible religious advisors around him. People like Paula White is pretty vile as far as I'm concerned, and he has a lot of dispensationalists around him who, uh, if you don't know what that is, go look it up. You'll see what all that is. It's heavily connected to Zionism and stuff like that. So when people, I was almost more annoyed by the people trying to go on defense for him, and I was like, guys, even if you don't think blasphemy was his intent, it's indefensible. Like, this is still indefensible, and it's okay to slap the wrist of somebody you like. If I did something, because here's the thing, everybody to some extent is going to be guilty of blasphemy. Everybody. Like, it's a commandment that that pretty much everybody breaks kind of loosely, you know. So if I do it, I would want to be corrected. If I were to do that, I would want to be corrected. If I slipped up and said something like GD or something like that, it's like, and that's, if that qualifies as blasphemy, it's like, yeah, I would want to be corrected in that. But so yeah, it's like seeing people go to bat and like just do everything they can to say, no, he did nothing wrong. And I'm just like, this is like the most pathetic cope. And what irritates me about so many people nowadays is the fact that they think, well, if you're criticizing one thing, that must mean you stand for the opposite. It's constantly this false dialectic. And I'm like, that's not what it means. If I were to go all the way and say, I think Trump's second term has been really bad, that does not equate to, I wish we had elected Kamala.
Right.
Those are not the same statement. One does not equal the other.
Right.
You know, it's like people need to get out of this mindset. And granted, I know a lot of it is programming, because like literally we have people out there programming that. I kind of think that's what Tucker Carlson is doing right now. I think he's a part of that right now, where he's trying to say, well, I'm against Zionism and you therefore should support Islam. And I'm like, that's a false dialectic. I don't like either. Okay. I don't particularly like either. So I'm not going to be caught up into this, but so many people are going to let themselves get caught up in that. It's like, you need to get out of this mindset where if X is true, then Y must be false.
Mhm.
It's like, nope, you need to think a little bit harder than that, because that's often not the case. It's not generally one extreme is true, one extreme is false. Generally, if it's extremes, they're both full of crap. So got to break the program in there.
My quick take on it is that there's
Also, thank you, Proctofire. I appreciate that.
a good comment there from Procto. Is trying to own his enemy, he ended up owning himself. And it wasn't a good look. I'm glad he deleted it and he apologized. So
yeah, and
yeah.
that's where I will give
Mhm.
Trump credits. Like, he did delete it. I don't like him trying to defend it the way he digs. Again, I tend to lean towards, I think he was trying to make that comparison.
Mhm.
Again, I think part of that is very much born of the fact of what people around him are saying about him. He
Right.
literally has people around him doing that comparison for him. So I don't think it was entirely of him. But so again, I appreciate that he deleted it, but it's like, just don't defend it. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't get why politicians, unless they're about to resign, I don't get why they never say, you know what, I was wrong. I
Yeah.
don't get why none of them ever say that. It irritates the
It's
living crap out of
okay
me.
it's okay to admit that you're wrong. And that goes back to people like even like Temple. Like I think that there are some people out there who just refuse to ever admit wrongdoing, no matter what, no matter what. There's some people who just keep on doing it, keep on apologizing, keep on committing the same problems and all that. I get that, but dude, it does not. I guess you found some hidden metric that says never apologize for anything. Even if you were absolutely a dick and you lost people over it, and you've absolutely closed bridges. You've burnt bridges. Like you are allowed to be wrong. You're allowed to do better, and to make even better revelations. They come from that too. So it was a terrible look, and I really don't think. Um, I really hope that whoever guided him towards that was a good
I'm more
idea.
annoyed at the people who claim to be Christians who defended it.
Yeah.
I'm more annoyed at them, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm more annoyed at them.
And I do see
Like,
that.
it's
I have
okay to be critical of somebody,
Mhm.
even if you like them. In fact, the people you like are the ones you should hold to the highest standard.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the real, like, that's, boy, you talk about something in our culture that's completely backwards. is, look, I understand being highly critical of your opponents when they do something wrong, but you have to understand something. If they don't hold your worldview, what the hell do they care? Whereas when your side, who is supposed to share your values, does something wrong, they are the ones you should be you should be highly critical.
You should
when they
feel
go against
okay
it.
with
And you
correcting them.
exactly, you should feel comfortable being critical of them, saying, hey, look, we're all sinners, we're all faulty, but you know what? You missed the bar there. Okay? It's okay to tell those people, it's like, you missed the bar there, because it's important to keep in mind what the bar is, not to lower it so your friend can hop over it. That just makes us weaker. Gosh, that analogy works good.
Yeah, that it's the truth. And like amongst friends, in friend groups and stuff like that, I've especially seen this on in our Twitter groups and stuff like that. The ones that I had remained in for a while, was the fact that there are the moment that somebody criticizes the other, and it's of real criticism, then it devolves into, well, is this person really your friend in the first place? And then it devolves into like, well, we're gonna have our little cliques in here, and we're all gonna agree or disagree, and then somebody, revenge will be taken. Revenge will be taken in some way. Somebody will get their pound of flesh out of this, and all because you said like, hey, listen, that's a really bad take, and I really hate that, because that can, we're letting a lot of people are letting this absolutely divide them, not just the Trump thing, but like like you're talking about the dialectic, the everything must be black and white. You can't disagree with one. You must well, even if he's wrong, you need to really just go more after the others and all that. It's like, no, when I hold you to a higher standard, then I hold
what
you
you
to
have
a
to
higher
understand,
standard.
and the thing that people need to understand is, like, if you let yourself get caught into a false dialectic, you are naturally going to start raising, or lowering your standards. That's what they're designed for. It's like that's the reason. It's like that's the whole reason behind them. It's to shift the Overton window. It's like, well, shoot, if X is true, then Y must be false. Therefore, da 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 da. It's like you've inadvertently allowed because of all this tribalism and nonsense, you've allowed yourself to shift the definition of what something is, or shift a principle to something it shouldn't be. It's like, nope, that's why you need to have more nuanced thinking. That's why you need to be more grounded in principle than party, because otherwise you're going to lose sight of what you stand for, to the point where you don't really stand for anything other than the tribe, and it's like that's ridiculous. That's backwards thinking. And it's like, because you're losing what it was in the first place. It's like, if you're, whatever group you belong to, if they don't stand for, you know, what they started as, and they didn't move to that place of a new standard, via a change, via a natural change in values, where like they challenge and they realize maybe they were wrong on stuff, right on some others. If it just happened via constant appeals to these extremes, then you don't really have a side that's recognizable at that point.
Yeah.
You're literally just, it's just the brand. I mean, and we see so many examples of this, whether it's in media or whatever, it's where it's something in name only. When a person, it was kind of bringing up that woman that Rachel Wilson debated. She was conservative in name only. The reason she's even able to probably convince herself that she's not a feminist is because her being feminist or not feminist has nothing to do with principles and values. Literally nothing. She doesn't want the label of feminist because of the negative connotation. Never mind the fact that all of her values align with feminism, save one. And it's like, that's just pure tribalism. It's like, I don't want that label. I want a different one. So I'm not going to accept that label, despite the fact that I fit it perfectly.
Well, you're supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them.
Exactly.
And let's see. I guess on that, I will make a quick little note here of. So, on that note, usually, I know that usually, or on somebody's gonna end up on somebody's stream, or something's gonna happen later. So I do want to. I don't want to absolutely dominate your time here, but
Yeah, I am on Nick's stream later tonight. We're doing Peaky Blinders.
has anybody made the joke Nick stream, like extreme, but with Nick in there?
Nick's stream. No, though. This is why I encourage people to watch the last hour of Nick's stream last night. So there were a little bit of play on words jokes with his names that I made.
Mhm.
It was a fun stream. I was having fun. Like I actually really love when Blue's on. If I'm not on the stream, the one person I want there every time, if I'm not there, is Blue,
Mhm.
because I love I find Blue being on there encourages my punny behavior because I am literally just trying to bait him. The whole anytime I'm able to engage, it's like I'm just trying to mess with him. And I think he's caught on to it, and so he's kind of watching for me just making these dumb jokes. And
Yeah.
if I can just hit about 2 or 3 of them really good and just make him lose it, it's totally worth it. But some there were a few plays on Nick's name also, but there was also I don't know where it started, but there was a joke about scrotums. And we started to literally just name off movies with replacing words in the title with the word scrotum or a variation of it. And it became like the last half hour of the stream, like On Her Majesty's Secret Scrotum, Scrotel Rwanda, like all kinds of stupid crap like that. And it just kept going and going and going. It just would not stop. And I was like, this is funny. This is actually really funny.
There has to be memes created out of that. So I'll go back and listen after the Jillian Michaels and Wilson thing that you had brought up earlier. I'd like to listen to that after this. But all right, well, Gord, yeah. So you'll be on Nick's show later, right?
Nick's later, and then probably tomorrow. It's like my video should be done today. I'm just
Okay.
adding music at this point. So I'll have that done and probably have the video out by tomorrow. And then, yeah, like I said, Nick tonight, Peaky Blinders.
Peaky
That is all I've got.
Blinders.
And I'll probably do a gaming stream tomorrow also, now that I'm done with the video.
Awesome, dude. I've been waiting on that, and let's see. I will be doing my thing. I might even do like a game stream tonight, but definitely tomorrow. I skipped Monday because I had so much farm related work to do and getting dragged into this and that. That I by the end of it, I'm just like, no, I'm gonna focus on this, and it's for the best. Sometimes you gotta just get shit done. I hated missing it, especially with one of the more recent updates to Project Zomboid that I'm ready to kick into gear. I had fun playing in Nendo last week. You can catch 2 streams of that. That stream actually did pretty well by the end of it, as far as views, because it's one of those games that's a hidden Nintendo gem that doesn't get enough play. And so, it's picked up quite a few little views there. For
Nice.
for such a out of the blue kind of game, or unknown. But also today is my 14 years of marriage anniversary.
Oh,
So
cool. Happy anniversary.
I totally forgot to tell y'all guys earlier. So we've been together for 15 years, but we've been married 14 years. So, year to the date of, meeting her, it's like, that works out perfect. So, we've been going good and getting stronger every day. Fortunately, it's one of those marriages where, you don't have regrets, and we're growing, deeper in, sorry. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I know that's kind of blunt. Fortunately, I don't regret my decision. But
no, it's like you could take that into some. It's like, unfortunately, it's not a spicy thing to talk about because it just keeps getting better. I mean,
yeah. My gosh, yeah. I wish I
boring.
had. I need Jeff Goldblum's laugh from Jurassic Park on my dang soundboard here. I swear. Okay. I love that freaking laugh. But anyway, and also, fortunately, we've been very, very lucky to, both grow in Christ, and it keeps getting better and better, and we, find out more. And it's one of those things where we could have a lifetime growing in that. You know, I wish that we had that and enough money to just stay home and study together and have have a great time. But we're that's going good. So yay, happy anniversary and bless y'all. Thank you so much for coming to the stream and and catching in the replay. I know Blue had to go earlier. I know Proctopile has had to be kind of in and out. With life and everybody got their thing going. And it's Tuesday morning. I stream at an odd time. I just really appreciate Gordon being able to come out and make it to the show and even between editing. So I can't wait for your video to come out. I've been waiting on that, but I also can't wait for you to freaking game stream. So I'll be sure to be done by the time that you start going because I actually want to see you game. It's been so long, been 84 years or whatever.
Yeah, there was a bit of a few weeks hiatus between the last Halo stream, and I don't know if I'm going to stream Halo again next. I'll go back to it at some point, but I might just do like intermittent ones where I'm streaming this or that. I do think it'd be hard to stream GTA 5 now that I think about it because of the music. Granted, you can turn the radio off, but I'll think about doing that one or something else. I know at the end of the month, I'm almost certainly going to stream Saros because I have been looking forward to that game for a really long time. I'm a huge Returnal fan, and it's kind of the spiritual successor follow-up from that developer. So end of the month, that one I'll definitely be doing.
And thank you, Procto. I appreciate that. And I think today I'm going to not end on our usual intro. I think I'll end on the other video that I showed earlier because that thing was just fun to watch. And y'all have a good one. Thank you so much for joining us.
Later.
This is a rare treat.
She was everything.
Wow.
Chill.